Hello. Good morning. Welcome to the Glenn Clark Radio Show. We're at Pressbox, PressBoxOnline.com. Obviously, I am not Glenn Clark.
I know, I was confused for a second.
Well, you know, we do have the same hairline most days.
Yeah. Now you do, after Glenn's haircut, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but they had to dig deep. I got the call, and I'm like, what? Everybody else who's ever done Baltimore sports on vacation all at the same time. I had to actually catch a flight last night that I almost didn't make it back in time. But I am Ken Zalis, better known as KZ. Used to be still part of Pressbox and Pressbox Online, but I'm now at fantasypros.com after a brief retirement, as Glenn Clark likes to tell me he won money on that I wouldn't be retired long. We got a great show. Mike Axisa. I'm going to mispronounce names.
It's Axisa.
Axisa.
Yeah.
See, this is my thing. You know this. I could write it down as I have, but he's from CBS Sports. He writes about things about Major League Baseball and all things recently about the trade deadline. He'll join us somewhere around 11:15, 11:20. 11 o'clock, my good friend John Laub, the Gridiron Scholar from Fantasy Football Diehards, will join us. We'll get into what I know sort of the best in my sports world these days, some fantasy football. As drafts are around the corner, we are very close to August 1st, where the drafts will be starting. Obviously, training camp around the NFL starts today. Everybody should be on the field. What time's that? Is that first practice today? It's this afternoon.
Yeah,
right?
I believe it is in the afternoon.
I believe
they've been doing media, I think, around noon.
Yeah.
So I think then they go out to the field.
So maybe it's 12:30, 2:30, something like that. And then a special treat for me. I think they did this just for me, but then I heard they do it all the time. But my good friend Jamie Watson, who I have done radio with forever and ever, she's going to pop in studio. And I'm a soccer guy. Always been a soccer guy. And apparently there's an important soccer tournament happening halfway around the world. And the United States will take on the Netherlands tonight at 9 p.m., looking to go 2-0 in their group and assuring themselves of advancing in the tournament and getting to the knockout round next week. But we will talk soccer, maybe a little bit Loyola. She's also the voice of Loyola Maryland soccer with Glenn, and does all kinds of fun stuff. So we'll have a fun show. So what do you want to talk about? Apparently there was a baseball game last
the
night?
Orioles, they kind of disappointed us a little bit last night, didn't they? That was not a fun ending at all.
It was not a fun ending. Here, I'm going full disclosure. I was watching the
that's
game.
Right. Yeah, you were traveling.
I was had a flight delay, and I was able to watch the game through the 8th inning. And I'm like, and I saw Cano warming up, and I showed it to my son, and I'm like, yeah, this could be a problem tonight. Let's be honest. We love what Cano has done this season, but he has shown signs over the last, I'm going to call it 10 days. Maybe it's longer than that. Maybe it's 2 weeks. But 10 days to me, to the point where people on the broadcast, Ben McDonald was talking about arm slot and things like that he's tired a little bit. I mean, the Oriole, this is the one thing that I think is the toughest thing for fans, even media people, to do, because the Orioles have been so successful. And we love every day. I kind of tweeted something yesterday. Every day we love to trash the lineup, and I said I had a bad feeling about yesterday because there was no. But here's what it was.
Okay.
People had very little complaints about the lineup last night.
So
like every other day, it's like, well, why is Westberg not playing? Why is Cowser not playing? Why is Mateo and McCann in the lineup without Rutschman being the DH? Like we could go back day after day after day and have a complaint from the Oriole fans in general, and maybe some media people that didn't like the lineup. And yesterday it was like everybody's kind of looking at the lineup like, yeah, really, outside of Frazier hitting 5th or 6th or wherever he was, people didn't have much to say, and I was like, I have a bad feeling. Everybody's way too quiet about the lineup, and
you could sense that something during the game was going to happen.
Well,
that we'd have to
look. The bullpen has been overused. They've been fantastic, especially on the back end. Okay, the long relief has been suspect. The sixth inning, seventh innings have been kind of hazy. Maybe Perez has turned himself around. He's had some good outings, but Cano has been, he was unhittable until 2 weeks ago, and then he gives up a hit. He really didn't blow anything. And I don't know how much he blew last night from what I'm hearing.
There was with 2 outs, there was a ground ball to Mateo. He double clutched it, and JT Realmuto, of all people, beats it out, and it brings up Alec Bohm, and
Boom
wins the game.
Now, it already given up the tie, but the way the Orioles have played this year, you like their chances in extra innings.
Yeah.
And then
you would assume they'd use Bautista, I guess, in the 10th.
You would have assumed that they used Bautista in the 9th last night because he had a day off. Now, it's not about how many innings. It's never about innings. I hate that everybody or how many appearances in a row. It's pitches. It's pitches and effort. Everybody start changing how they think. It's not about innings. It's not about pressure situation, non-pressure situation. It's about how many pitches has he thrown and how much time. What we don't know is Bautista may have come in for the game and may have said to the manager, I feel a little weak today. Maybe I need one more day. Worked out yesterday. They didn't use Cano or Bautista. Got through it. Hey, we're all on pins and needles.
Yeah.
With Baker and
Perez and Danny Coulombe.
Look, we understand every Oriole fan, and I'm an Oriole fan. Forget about what else we all do in the world. I'm an Oriole fan. I've been an Oriole fan since I was 3, which is really long time ago. We want the Orioles to do well, and but you have to be a little bit realistic. The bullpen and the starting pitchers, everybody is at the point right now, before August 1st, where they're career highs. Like we're there.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they're going to add, but I will say this. Let's take the positive from yesterday. They're still in first place by a game and a half. They still own a one-run games and one-run records of 19-10, which is just insane. And Fuji was the man yesterday.
Yes.
And dominant. And everybody, look, we all heard going to try to ease them in. Well, where do you ease them in when you're the Orioles? Every game's important, and every game seems to be close right now because of situations, which is my next point, where you can't score and add on runs. This team does not add on runs. You have bases loaded, nobody out. You don't score runs. This is why everything's overtaxed, is all these close games. It's great that they've played 29 one-run games, but that doesn't even tell you how many two-run games and how many three-run games. Like very few of the Orioles games are blowouts.
Mm-hmm.
And even when they appear to be blowouts, they seem to get close late. Like, okay, we're up 6-0 in the first inning, and then they don't score again. This team is not very good at adding on runs. And I think that, coupled with, all the pitchers, and for the most part, outside of middle relief, the pitching has been fantastic. The starters have been, the last 4 outings by the starters have just been, God, good.
Mm-hmm. Really, the whole month, the starting pitching has really stepped up, which is makes you a little worried. As you mentioned, every pitcher. Outside of Gibson and Bradish and Kramer, do you really like Grayson? Very worried about the innings. Tyler Wells worried about the innings, and that kind of showed on Sunday. Like he looked about as unsharp as he has all season with the walks, the hit batters, and then obviously the home run. That was the only hit he let up, but all the walks, it did some damage, and he couldn't make it through 5 innings.
Yeah, he's been the start that's looked the most tired the last 2 outings.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not worried about Gibson. He's a veteran. That's fine. Kramer and Bradish just look flat out dominant right now.
Yeah, they do.
I mean,
They
they
do.
just look like they're strong. And look, I have enjoyed what I have seen from Grayson Rodriguez the last 2 outings. Very unlucky this first start back. Should we have made a play in center field? Was it a tough play? Sure, but it's a play that if our normal center fielder isn't hurt, probably catches easily without jumping or anything like that. And it's a different inning and things like that. I thought he was terrific the other day.
Yeah.
Give me 5 2/3. Again, you're playing good teams. I mean, it's not like you're playing the Kansas City Royals. You're playing the Rays. You're playing the Phillies. Are
in the
playoff
World Series.
team.
They were in the World Series yesterday.
And they're a playoff team this year. I mean, it's just like you're playing good teams. It gives up your starting pitcher gives up 2 runs
in 6 innings.
In 6 innings every time out. We're going to be happy. And then you got to find that bridge. And Fuji looks like, I don't know if he can always come in and not walk anybody.
Right.
But we all see the stuff. I mean, the stuff's just ridiculous. It's just there's no way.
Anytime a guy's hitting triple digits, there's something there.
He's hitting 100, and then he's coming back with 83.
Yeah.
That's just impossible. So if you can get Cano rested and back, I think he's the one. We probably don't see him.
Yeah.
For 3 days or so, and they'd probably love to give him even more time off. But I still think that the trade deadline's coming up. We're gonna talk to Mike shortly. I don't know who the bullpen arms are. I know Josh Hader's a bullpen arm. That's the big one.
Yeah. Stan has been pushing. The Royals have Scott Barlow on the trade block, and a guy that less people know about, Carlos Hernandez, who's kind of similar to Fujinami, where he gets hit hard, but he has really good stuff where he can hit triple digits. And it's just kind of like you just kind of want to see just somebody. I don't think there's a bullpen move that the Orioles can make that fans would be upset about. Every single Fujinami, the guy had has an 8 ERA, but everyone's still it's like they're doing something here. This guy has stuff.
Yeah, I mean you got to look, you got to look beyond the numbers, and that's what they did with Fujinami, and they saw his last 19 outings, and once they got used to the bullpen, and look, he looks. Even the home run was the home run, and then the other day was a little bit unlucky, and they kept him out there for 38 pitches or whatever it was. But he's used to going a lot of pitches, and if he can be that bridge, and if you can get Perez right and become trustworthy, love Cole Irvin as the long guy, the way he's been pitching and things like that. One arm, maybe they add a starting pitcher. Is there a starting pitcher worthwhile going after?
Right.
We're not going to talk about the elephant in the room. We'll do that later. I mean, obviously there's that, and that's, the Orioles are going to trade 17 prospects, and if you listen to Colin Cowherd, the next 5 rounds.
Yeah, the next 5 picks.
How do you have a conversation like that on air? It's like, come on. I mean, you did it for 15 minutes and nobody corrected you.
The starter market, because I guess there's so many teams that obviously every summer there's so many teams that want to add another starter. So that's why that price could be really high for what is likely going to be a rental when they go the starting pitch, if they go the starting pitching route. So that's why that one seems so tough, and it makes it a lot easier. It's a lot cheaper, I guess, to go the reliever route.
It is, and it's tough. It's tough as an Oriole fan because we have waited patiently, and I feel like nobody remembers 5 years ago, but nobody remembers anything before COVID. COVID wiped out everybody's memory brain. I know they struggled the last 3 years, let's say, but in 2017, this was still a good ball club. 2016 was really good. 2017, they were still good, and everything went to pot. And I guess the older you get, when you're as my son for the first time, I got. The guy didn't even ask me. He just gave me the senior citizen discount for the first time at the movie I saw.
Well, congrats.
He thought, look, I'm all about saving money at this point. He didn't ask. I was like, okay, and I don't know what their number is, but
it's probably like 40.
I don't think it's quite 40. I mean, I am 55 now, so I mean, I'm getting there, but it's just one of those things you forget. That wasn't that long ago, and we've watched the build, and we've lived through the 100 losses, and now we know all the names of these kids, and we're waiting to see them come up. And everyone that comes up has been really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've done something the night that they get called up, and
right. And I want Joey Ortiz here tomorrow.
Yeah,
I want him playing shortstop tomorrow. Okay, there's nobody else on the team if Gunnar.
Oh yeah,
has to miss a couple of days.
That's another conversation. Yeah,
we'll have that conversation. If he has to miss a couple of days, there's nobody else I want to play shortstop anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm over it. I love Mateo.
Yeah,
I do. He's a good guy. I've had brief conversation with him on a station, and he's a good guy. Works hard. I don't know what it is right now, but he needs time off. He's hurting now.
Mm-hmm.
Before they were getting away with it, he's hurting now.
It seems like his confidence is probably shot.
Right.
He's not in the lineup every single night.
Right.
And when he's got to come in now in the 8th inning to relieve the 22-year-old, and he doesn't seem ready. His head doesn't seem like it's in it. And it's hard to blame him. I mean, he had really great moments, last summer when he had the really hot month, the April of this year.
I mean, my God.
Yeah.
I mean, we're
MVP.
like, oh my God. I was like, what how did this happen?
Yeah.
And then as quickly as we were surprised it happened, the waterfall went off, and it's been bad. And now, the great thing we always held about, well, he's a great guy to have because the defense and the speed and utilize, even if he's not starting, start him once a week. You can put him as a pinch runner later and put him as a defensive replacement, put Gunnar at third and, Urias at second in your 9th inning, and you got a great defensive lineup. And that's, if you can't do that, and I know it's a tough decision, I'm sure, within the warehouse, but if you can't do that, is there any value? And,
right.
And you got kids that are ready. So I think we're going to take a break.
All right.
Is that what we're going to do?
Yeah, we can do that.
Is that what we're going to do? But before we do, just to remind you that the Toyota Tacoma comes in a range of models and trim lines. You can choose the perfect Tacoma to reflect your unique personality and driving habits. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Tacomas from your local Toyota dealer today. You're listening to Glenn Clark Radio. We'll be right back.
Hike to new heights. The best view is yours in Washington County. Our iconic scenic overlooks provide some of the most breathtaking vistas in the Mid-Atlantic. Some are very easy walks, some can be driven to, and some are the payoff for a moderate to difficult hike. All are near quaint small towns that offer great dining, shopping, hiking gear, and more. Explore our 5 national parks for iconic vistas and wineries with breathtaking views. Visit our quaint historic towns and make your stay unforgettable. Learn more at visithagerstown.com. Maryland, be open.
Maryland drivers, did you know you can save up to 77% on tolls with an Easy Pass Maryland discount plan? That's right, 77%. It's never been easier. Pick the plan that's right for you at driveezmd.com. We'll keep you moving.
It's a Maryland thing you wouldn't understand.
Where the waves meet the shore, you will find Dorchester County. Hi, this is Jimmy Charles. When I think of Maryland, I think Dorchester County on the eastern shore where it's open for making memories. Dorchester County, it's a Maryland thing. For more info, visit www.visitdorchester.org.
It's a Maryland thing. Hell yeah. It's a Maryland thing. Hell yeah.
The All-America Senior Game powered by New Balance will be back at Johns Hopkins Homewood Field on July 29th. The most decorated girls and boys lacrosse players in the country have been invited to play in what is the premier lacrosse event of the year. Every college coach wants their players in this game, and if you dream of being in this game, you start by trying out for one of your regional underclass teams this summer. The best against the best. Get your tickets now at allamericalacrosse.com.
Your summer destination is closer than you think at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. With an expansive gaming floor and incredible dining options ready for you to explore, your adventure awaits. Dine at the new Coho Korean Barbecue House coming in July or on the patio at the Prime Rib. Enjoy the summertime breeze at Orchid Smoking Patio. Limited time packages starting at $229. What are you waiting for? Book now. At Arundel Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Costas Inn has been serving up delicious steamed crabs for over 50 years. Lately, the crabs you want to eat when the weather warms up have gotten harder and harder to get. So get your crab eating game plan in place. Make sure to stick this number on your fridge, 410-477-1975. Call ahead and reserve the size crabs you want. You may be able to walk in, but you may also be disappointed at the size or maybe even get shut out altogether. So call ahead, have a plan, and then arrive on your crab eating vacation. Costas also has delicious crab soup and crab cakes. The Costas Inn at 4100 North Point Boulevard. For more than 50 years, they've been satisfying crab lovers in and around Baltimore.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
Check out PressBoxOnline.com every day to find daily winners and betting advice from Jeremy Kahn. And if you want some advice about life decisions that you probably shouldn't make, here's Glenn Clark.
This is not Glenn Clark. It is KZ in for Glenn Clark. Glenn Clark is happily on a beach somewhere, but while you may be missing Glenn Clark, you can go to PressBoxOnline.com offers right now and get $150 in bonus bets from DraftKings after placing your first $5 bet. See this and other great sportsbook offers at PressBoxOnline.com/offers. By the way, and I know I get lost in this sometimes because I don't, as somebody that works in a school as their real job, when I'm not pretending to be a sports person. I forget what day it is during the summer because I'm off. But it is Would You Rather Wednesday here at Glenn Clark Radio. And real quick, before we get to our guest, we have three of them. And I apologize. They may not. They're a little bit KZ-ish, and
I think they're
you
good.
know, they're good
I
enough.
like 'em.
Yeah. The Would you rather the Orioles pull off a trade for Ohtani? The package is Jordan Westburg, Connor Norby, Joey Ortiz, and DL Hall. Or no, I'm good. It's a lot to give up.
Yeah,
we love those names. Number 2, the Ravens go 10-7 and make the playoffs. But once again, they lose in the first round, or they lose in the Super Bowl by a score of 45-3. Could be a rough day.
Yeah.
I mean, we'd enjoy the ride. Imagine the Lamar heat around the world if that would happen. And finally, the Orioles can only trade for one San Diego Padre. Would you rather it be starting pitcher Blake Snell or former Oriole hand relief pitcher Josh Hader? Go to Glenn Clark Radio, at Glenn Clark Radio on the Twitter machine. And you can, am I allowed to call it the Twitter machine?
Yeah, I think. Well, I guess it's
can
X
I call
now or whatever.
Go to the X.
Yeah, go to X.
I need Vince McMahon so badly to do the ad for him. Oh, my God. But right now, we are, look, we've been having a lot of fun this baseball season. The Orioles, look, they took a step last year out of really nowhere. We expected them to be better last year. They were pretty good. They were in the playoff hunt for a long time, and I think it would be an ultimate disappointment at this point if they did not make the playoffs, whether they win the division or not. Here from CBS Sports, Mike Axisa is here to talk all things Major League Baseball trade deadline. Good morning, Mike. Thanks for joining us today.
Sure, happy to come on.
So, is there anyone available that the Orioles may want to trade for? I'm hearing these rumors every day that there's some guy out in California. I'm not really familiar with his name or his work as a football guy. Do they got anything the Orioles may be interested in?
I really don't think Ohtani's going to move. The Angels, they had that game last night was just ridiculous that they won. They blew a 4-run lead in the ninth inning. They came back and won anyway. It seems like they're doing just enough to hang around, and that's like just the excuse they need to keep Ohtani. So I realistically don't think he's going anywhere. I don't think they want to trade him. They're close enough that they're going to keep him. And the Orioles, if they do put Ohtani out there, why wouldn't the Orioles go all out to get him? He's like exactly what they need. They need a really good starting pitcher. Could use another bat for the middle of the lineup. You got more prospects than roster spots. Realistically, you cannot keep all these infielders because there's just no room for all of them. Of course you make that trade, I think. I just don't think Ohtani's going anywhere.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I just you never want to be the team that trades Babe Ruth, right? You can never get away from that. And the other side is, well, what if he doesn't re-sign with them and they get nothing for him? It's like, well, you're only 3.5 out of the wild card. They're in a tough spot. But I tend to agree with you. But so let's keep it at home first. If you are the Orioles, what are you looking to do for this team for the playoff run? They already added a bullpen arm. The starting pitching's been better than advertised and actually really, really good over the last 10 days. If you're the Orioles, where are you shopping these days?
Yeah, I think you got to start with the rotation because the young guys, Kyle Bradish, Dean Kramer, Grayson Rodriguez, they're all closing in on their career high in innings. Like pretty soon, I'm talking like 2 or 3 starts, they're going to be throwing as many innings as they've thrown at any point in their careers. And you don't want to run into a situation in late August, September, or October where these guys are just on fumes and they're not effective because they're no good to you then. So I think, you can never, there's no such thing as too much pitching. And with the Orioles, they really don't have like a true number one starter. Kyle Gibson's pretty good, but realistically, do you want him starting game 1 in a postseason series? No, not really. I don't think that true number one ace is out there on the market, but they could definitely use another starter just to lighten the load on everyone else. They keep these guys fresh. You don't want to use them. You don't want to have to just push them as far as you can push them, and then you get to October and they're all just like out of gas there and no good to you. So I think you got to start with the rotation. Yennier Cano has been he looks kind of gassed. He was not good last night. He's given up a lot of hits lately. He's another guy who's closing in on throwing as many innings as he's ever thrown. So another bullpen arm, even on top of Fujinami. Yeah, I think that's probably the way to go. Just more pitching. You can never have enough of it.
So, if you're looking for starting pitching, I don't disagree with you. We threw out the Blake Snell thing. I don't know if the Padres are going to really be selling. They put together a team that to win the World Series. It doesn't look like it's going in that direction right now, even with all the talent. Who are the top starting pitchers? We've heard Dylan Cease may be available. Yeah. Guys like that. But if are you renting somebody, or are you going, if you're the Orioles, just another number 3, number 4 guy, maybe not a top of the rotation guy?
Yeah, if you want a Dylan Cease or someone you can have beyond 2023, I think that would, obviously that would be ideal. I think Mike Elias would tell you that would be kind of his perfect addition there. Those guys are not really available, though. There just doesn't seem to be enough arms for the entire league. It seems like nobody has enough pitching. So rentals are the way to go. I think Marcus Stroman, he's kind of like exactly what the Orioles need. He's maybe not a true number one starter, but he's pretty close. You could start him in an important postseason game and feel pretty good. Luke Giolito, those two. I don't know if Snell's going to move, and he's kind of an unusual pitcher because he leads the league in walks, and he also has the lowest ERA, and those two things usually don't mix well. So something's going to have to give there eventually. But yeah, I think Giolito and Stroman would probably be their best bet to get a starter who's impactful, who could really make a difference instead of just go out and chew some innings at an okay rate.
What do you think of the Mets rotation and what are they sellers? Are they buyers? Is any team willing to take on the contracts of Scherzer and Verlander. Are they? Where are the Mets at here? Because those are two, veteran arms that I think teams would like, but the contracts may prohibit it.
Yeah, I think they're going to sell. They're even with the win last night, they're still pretty far out there. Their bullpen is kind of shaky beyond David Robertson and Adam Ottavino at the end there. And Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander, yes, they're Hall of Famers. They're big names. They're not pitching like aces this season, and it's a lot of money. And the Mets have shown that they'll to get the best return, they're willing to eat money. They ate all the money to send Eduardo Escobar to the Angels. They took on like $8 million to get Trevor Gott, which is ridiculous, but it just goes to show how much they're willing to kind of pay money down to get the best return. And if they go to Scherzer and Verlander, who have no trade clauses and control their whole situation, if they don't want to go to the Orioles, they don't want to go anywhere, they're not going. But if they're willing to go to a first-place Orioles team, the Mets will eat money. I mean, they've shown they'll do it. But if they eat money, you're going to have to give them a lot more prospects. And I don't know how willing the Orioles are to do that for two guys who are, they're really up there in years. They're not pitching. They're not bad, but they're not pitching great. They're certainly not the guys they were 2 or 3 years ago, or Verlander just last year. So I think the Mets would listen. I think probably it's just these trades would be so complicated because there's so much money involved, and the Mets would want so much in return for eating that money. I don't know. I just feel like these things are just not going to come together before the deadline.
We are speaking with CBS Sports' Mike Axisa about the Major League Baseball trade deadline. And, Mike, the one team that sort of intrigues me, that they have parts, and I don't know how many of these parts that they really are going to let go, is the St. Louis Cardinals. You look at them and you look at, Goldschmidt and Arenado, and I don't think either one of those guys are necessarily on the market to be traded, but they do have some pitching. Jordan Montgomery, Jack Flaherty, among some other guys that have pitched well during their careers and at times during this year. Where are you if you're the Cardinals, and where would you be on a guy like Jordan Montgomery as a piece that could help a pennant race?
Yeah, Montgomery could definitely help. He's about as durable as you can expect. He came back from Tommy John surgery, I think it was 2019, and he hasn't missed a start since then. He's about as good a bet as there is to go out there. Every fifth day you can count on him to go out and pitch well, and even better than that at times. He pitched in New York for the Yankees. He's kind of been through the ringer, so you can feel good about plugging him in there. And, the Cardinals really should probably extend a pitcher like that. If you're going to keep Arenado and Goldschmidt and try to contend next year, why are you going to – unless you get a huge return, why would you trade Montgomery? It seems like you should just re-sign him. But I don't know what they're thinking there. And I'd feel comfortable about adding Montgomery as – like the Orioles, I'd be perfectly fine adding Montgomery. I feel comfortable with him. And Flaherty's a little different because he's just been up and down this year or the last few years. He's had some injuries. But we've also seen him pitch at like an extremely high level, and you can't help but dream on, okay, maybe we can unlock this guy and figure it out. And I'm not sure that guy is really in there anymore after the injuries, but so little pitching available this year, so little high-end pitching. I mean, some teams take a shot on him, I think. And Jordan Hicks is the other one in the bullpen. A few weeks ago, he made an adjustment. He moved to the extreme first base side of the rubber, and he's basically been untouchable since then. It really unlocked him. I mean, that's the kind of guy who can help any contender. He could close, he could set up, he could do whatever you want in the bullpen. Supposedly the Cardinals and Hicks are trying to talk about an extension. I don't know if they're going to get that done in time, but he's a rental and he's someone who could help a contender. So I'd be calling about him. I have no trouble with adding him to my bullpen down the stretch.
Mike, let's say the Orioles do go all in on a pitcher like Dylan Cease or maybe Corbin Burns. He might not be available, but the Brewers are typically always willing to sell. Yeah. Who on the Orioles should be untouchable for them? I guess Holiday. Is there any other prospects that once they hear those names they should say no, we're not giving up those guys?
Yeah, I think just among guys in the minors, it's really just Holiday. I think now Kowser's in the big leagues and Westberg's in the big leagues, and I think just because you have so many infielders, Westberg should be available. I think that's a position of depth, and if that's the guy you need to give up to get a high-end starter like Cease, I think you do that. Kowser's a little bit different, just because he fills a need in the outfield, and that's a little bit more of an area of a need. But as far as guys in the minors, I mean, obviously you keep Holiday, and I don't think there's any scenario in which the Orioles would trade him. I think he's not going to be no chance he goes anywhere. Everybody else should be available. I think you're in first place. You got a chance to win, not just to win the division, but to secure a wild card series bye. You get to skip the entire first round. You know, Adley Rutschman is not going to be making the league minimum forever. You know, this is a really good chance for you to go all in and try to win a World Series. So, other than Holiday, I'd make almost everybody available. I'm not saying I'd give these guys away, but obviously you can't close the door on them and say they're off limits right off the bat.
It's certainly a fun time to be a Baltimore Oriole fan, and you know, it's always tough when we haven't been here in a while. You know, it's tough. We've been following these names for so long, and you're starting to see them come up one by one. You're excited for them, and they've done relatively well, and you don't want to give up anybody. You know, it's sort of like I feel like it's my baseball cards coming back again. I didn't want to give up anybody to make a trade with my baseball cards, but in order to get something, you got to give something up. He is Mike Axisa from CBS Sports. Mike, how can people follow you outside of going to CBS Sports around the World Wide Web?
It's just Mike Axisa. It's AXISA, and that's Twitter, that's Blue Sky, that's everything you could imagine these days.
It's a whole new world, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mike, thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of the baseball season. Appreciate you coming on today.
Sure, happy to come on.
There he goes. Mike Axisa, CBS Sports, at Mike Axisa, and all the different. He threw in the Blue Sky. I haven't even gotten the invitation yet for Blue Sky. You need a special invite apparently to get on there.
What's the other one? It's Threads.
Threads. I'm on Threads. That's yeah.
I mean, it got some traction from day one. And
well, it's still got some traction. It's so hard to the person who figures out how to make one post that goes everywhere and can touch all these places. I'm buying that person.
I mean, I guess that's like kind of half. Threads will be the closest to that, I guess. Because Zuckerberg's got He already has Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah, that's going to be the closest.
Yeah,
but it's like which one of these. Is it Blue Sky? There's Matrodon. There's all of these that are trying to be the next Twitter, as Twitter seems to be imploding before our very eyes, which is very sad.
Yeah,
it's sort of sad.
It is sad.
It is sad, but you know that's where we are. So, good conversation with Mike. This is going to be tough. It's going to be interesting. Trade deadline's in next Sunday.
Tuesday. I think.
This
or
Tuesday?
It's August 1st.
Oh, what? Oh,
so that is a Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday. So we're under a week.
We are under a week. Yeah, and it seems rather quiet.
It's
far.
very quiet.
Yeah.
Well, Mike made a great point. There's not a lot out there. Like there are more teams that are within, let's say, 6 games of making the wild card than not. So there's so few teams that I think are sellers at this point, and there's just not a lot out there. Cease is like the only guy that's like not a rental. Everybody else is a rental unless you can sign them, and God, I hate giving up any of these kids for a rental.
Yeah, it is tough, but it seems like Mike made the point. I mean,
he did.
This team's in first place.
They're in first place. If you're not going to go now, when are you going to go?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you see what it is, and they're in first place, battling adversity. Like Mountcastle was terrific for a while, and then he wasn't with the Vertigo, so they had to deal without him. O'Hearn has been, my God. Now he's hitting lefty on lefty. Are you kidding me? Okay.
And it seems like it's always in a clutch spot.
Always.
That he is.
Last night it's just like, it's like, dude, him and I gave Frazier a lot of. I got off the Frazier thing because he just gets big hits.
Yeah, he does. He does get hits.
It's maddening.
It's tough though because his defense is
really bad.
Yeah,
really bad.
And you know that all these kids are.
And they're
a lot better.
Right. They can all play. They can all pick it. And it's like, it's frustrating, but it's like, man, it's like, how many big hits has he gotten this year? And Urias, I mean, he is what he is. He's a 260 hitter. It's going to.
But he can play every position in the infield.
And he's very streaky at the plate. But he seems to come up with big hits. It's tough because it's like, you're looking at this team and they're approaching more time without Cedric Mullins than with him this year. And they've
And they haven't dropped.
They haven't dropped recordly. I mean, they suffer a little bit in the outfield. And there's no doubt nobody is Cedric Mullins in the outfield defensively. Cowser, I think, it has the reputation of a plus outfielder. I think he's real. I watch a kid that defensively is really unsure of himself. I guess, moving him center, right to left every night is probably not the greatest idea for a young player that's used to playing one position all the time. But, man, it's hopefully Cedric gets back.
Yeah,
because he's starting to hit again. But they haven't missed a beat no matter who's gone down. It's been kind of crazy, and it's fun, and everybody just has to understand there are ebbs and flows to this. Baseball is not football. We've been in football mode for so long.
At this time of year, it is
like
day one of training camp. That's the only thing you're talking about.
Day one of training camp. Okay, the Orioles got us to where they got us to, and now it's day one of training camp. Not even on my even on my radar today. Not I watch the little tidbits of the people that I watch, and who's in, who's out, as far as the reported to camp on the PUP list, whatever. We'll start to get today who passed and failed the daunting test that they give, and I think they're still going to sign a couple of guys. We'll see what happens. Bowser coming into camp kind of worried people. He had the brace on and was limping already. It's like I didn't expect.
Bowser
didn't expect that.
Awesome. And then Bateman, that one's just because he's a Ravens receiver.
Well, but he hasn't been healthy. I mean, look, we all saw the talent when he was healthy. Loved the kid. When they drafted him, I was like, he was one of my top 3 wide receivers that were available. Big kid, can run routes, run away from you. Just hasn't worked out, and he didn't. For everybody says, he was always hurt in college. He wasn't, folks. I know we like to fall back on that. Marquise Brown was always hurt in college. You still took him, and he was always hurt in the pros. Good when he was on the field, minus the drops that he had. But 1,000-yard receiver, deep threat, get the ball in his hands. Always a risk to take it. But he was a injury risk when you took him. Bateman wasn't. It's just, and he's got the type of injury now that you just don't know. I got some bad news. We will not be joined today by John Lau. John Lau ran into a little bit of an issue. We are going to schedule him if we have time tomorrow.
Okay, that's your word.
Instead, so maybe I'll walk through some fantasy stuff.
Okay.
We can start talking fantasy. I've been involved in several drafts already.
Jeez.
So
I mean, this is your life, yeah.
Well, this time of year, and what happens is the industry drafts try to happen before the other drafts, so we can actually say to people in these drafts this is where people are going. If you want this person, you're really going to have to grab them. Because if you wait past this round or that round. So we start, the first one I always do is July 4th. It's July 4th Invitational. We do it live on air on XM Radio. It's a fun league. It's a weird league. It's a double tight. You have to start 2 tight ends.
2 tight ends. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, so tight ends go really early because there are no tight ends. And I've had a history of, I started the trend in that league of my first 2 picks being tight ends.
So does the team with Travis Kelce always win in that league?
No, not always.
Okay.
Not always, because, obviously if you take, look, Kelce's a first-round pick in fantasy, but if you take Kelce in the first round, you really have to hit on wide receivers.
Right, okay.
Or running backs later that aren't, as always, I always say I'm always a running back snob because I take them early, I take them often, because I always think there's so many wide receivers. And if you miss out on Kelce or Andrews, I'm out on tight end. I'll wait. I'll wait forever. I'll figure it out later. Like last year, if you waited forever and wound up with Evan Ingram, who's been a bust his entire career, but you say, you know what, it's a new spot, he's going to be the starter. Okay, you got a top 5 tight end, and you're off and running. So it's just one of those things. We ready for another break?
Yeah, we can take another break. Where do you usually? I just thought of it because where do you usually take quarterbacks then?
So my rule of thumb, if it's a single quarterback league, is I never take one until at least the fourth round.
Okay.
If Patrick Mahomes is available in the fourth round, I don't care what you have. You take Patrick Mahomes in the fourth round, and then you kind of play your board. In a single quarterback league, I try to be, if it's a 12-team league, I try to be at least the 10th person to take a quarterback.
Gotcha.
I'm in a league. I'm doing they don't call it best ball in this, but it's an industry draft where it's a best ball league, and we draft and it's for charity. So whoever wins the league, first place and second place, they donate money to the charity that you play for, and I think we're through 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're in the 7th round.
Gotcha.
I don't have a quarterback. I think there's 6 or 7 quarterbacks off the board. The ones you would expect. And then you start the line is whether it's like Fields Lawrence. Like that's the one, and then you're like, okay, what do I do? And then it's like Dak and Russell Wilson and that.
And then where's Kirk Cousins ranking this so
Kirk
far?
Cousins is down. You can get Kirk Cousins anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, you get Kirk Cousins anywhere because Kirk Cousins. You're relying solely upon yards and touchdowns. You're not getting anything with his feet.
Right.
Whereas, Mahomes and Burrow and even Herbert and obviously Lamar and Hurts and Fields go without saying, and even Lawrence to a degree, you're getting a little bit with your legs. So there it is.
I've always approached it where I like to try to take my quarterbacks usually pretty late, just because I don't like ever reaching for those top guys, because I feel like
I'm always late.
Yeah.
I'm always late, and like this is my perfect scenario. I'm gonna try to wait in this league, and we'll see if it works out. To after the 8th round, I want 4 running backs, 4 wide receivers. Tight end I've punted. I didn't get Andrews or Kelsey. I punted it. I'll grab 3 guys later in the draft because it's a 24-round draft.
Yeah.
I want to come away with something around this. I want to come away with Jared Goff or Kirk Cousins. I want one of those 2 guys. I think they're high-volume guys that could throw 40 touchdowns this week.
How are you evaluating Rodgers to this season?
I'm out.
You're
I'm
out?
I'm out. I here's the dirty little secret with Rodgers. His numbers aren't great for fantasy all the time.
Yeah.
Like if you,
he doesn't throw many interceptions, and that would be.
Well, he doesn't throw many interceptions, but he doesn't throw many touchdowns anymore either, and he's never been a 4,500 to 5,000 yard thrower. So, I think the Jets to me are going to be. They have a dynamite defense, and Rodgers makes them instantly a better team. They still got a lot of questions. Rodgers got to answer a lot of questions. Okay? Wilson we love, but people are bumping Wilson as a top 10 receiver. I'm out. I'll take I'm in on Breece Hall. If Breece Hall can get healthy, I saw enough from Breece Hall. If he's back and he doesn't miss any time, I'm in. Breece Hall to me is a top 10 running back. But I'm not. Who else am I interested in for the Jets? Like I'm out. Who's the guy he brought with him from
Lazard? Yeah, he brought Lazard with him.
We're done. Come on. You had your opportunity last year to be the number 1, and you've always been the 2 or 3, and you've never been any good. You're just a guy. I mean, we call him Jags, just a guy. Your best year will be 800 receiving yards and 7 touchdowns. Well, there's 25 guys that I could draft in the middle rounds that could do those numbers. I'm just out on those guys. I'd rather go with high volume. I'd rather take Jordan Addison later than Lazard. Give me if you say, well, you got to take Lazard in the 8th or you get Jordan Addison in the 11th. Give me Jordan Addison. It's a high volume passing offense. He's going to be the number 2 receiver
next to Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson. Well, Jefferson's great, but he's going to get double teams. There are other people. They lost their running back. Madison's again. Madison's
so how do you measure? How do you evaluate Madison now? With
he's
like
quote
unquote bell cow. I guess
he's a RB2 low. So he's somewhere. He'll wind up somewhere in my rankings, and I don't have my rankings off the top of my head right now. I can look him up if I need to. But I bet you he's somewhere in my rankings between 22 and 28. So he could be an RB2, but
what's his upside? Like, is his
upside is
Dalvin Cook or
no? He's not that guy. His upside is a mid-level RB2. I don't think he's dynamic. I don't think he has the skill set that the top running backs have, and I also don't think he's going to be a bell cow. I just don't. He's never been able to be a bell cow. He's always got nicked up if he's been able.
If he
two
ever has to play
two games with 20. The third game he's not getting that. So, I'm. He would on my teams. He would be at best an RB3. If he's my RB1 or RB2, I'm in a lot of trouble, and I did something really wrong.
Gotcha.
I joked with the people I'm doing this current draft, just the way that I had the 9th pick, and just the way everything fell to me. At 9, Eckler's staring me in the face. I'm like, do I really want a 28-year-old running back? Like, okay. So then I had 5 guys between my next pick that I wanted, and they all went off the board. And Derrick Henry staring me in the face.
Oh, man.
And I'm like, I mean, he's still a high-volume guy. I mean, he's still the guy. There's risk. So I started my draft Eckler and Henry. And I was like, folks, I said, I'm applying for my AARP card now. And then I added, and then the funniest.
In 2018, you feel pretty good.
Right, I felt great. And then I added DeAndre Hopkins.
Oh, my God. Yeah,
I had the oldest team in the world. But I did grab ETN and Javonte Williams along the way. Just like I was like, once I went old at running back, I was like, I've got to get some young running backs. And I didn't mean to go 4 in the first 5 rounds, but Brandon Ayuk luckily was available as my second wide receiver. So I'm like I got to get some youth. And now I'm just looking. It's like whenever it's a slow draft, so we don't do it. You get up to 8 hours per pick, and most people don't do it. But everybody's busy and doing shows. Like if I was picking over the next couple hours, I wouldn't be picking because I'm not paying attention to it. And everybody's doing that, and it's like, oh my God, I have the oldest team in the world. I know I'm going to wind up with Russell Wilson at quarterback.
Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, or I guess like Kirk or something.
Yeah. I'm going to wind up
Rodgers.
with these, right. I'm not taking Rodgers.
Nothing's going to put
Rodgers.
No,
I won't take. I'm just out. I just want to be out. I don't want people to be unsuccessful. I just don't want the Jets to be a thing this year.
Right.
I'd love for them to go 0-4. I don't know what their schedule is. I'd love for them to go 0-4. I just, the fact that they were on Hard Knocks and like put that nail in the coffin. I will not watch 1 second of Hard Knocks.
Come on.
I won't. I don't care. Aaron Rodgers is a wonderful football player. I do not want to hear words coming out of his mouth not pertaining to football. I just don't.
They got Bills week 1, Cowboys week 2. Then they host the Patriots, and then they host the Chiefs. That's their first 4 weeks.
I think 1-3 is a good. If they come out at 1-3, they're probably fortunate.
Yeah.
Where's the Cowboy game?
Cowboys in Dallas. So they have 3 home games. Dallas is the only road game there. So they get Buffalo, New England, and Kansas City at home.
If you're a Jet fan, if you're 2-2 after 4 games, you should be doing cartwheels. No, I'm serious.
Yeah.
You should be doing cartwheels.
You're probably right. I mean,
that's a tough opening. I mean, the division, set aside the New England, because I think New England is probably the least talented team in that division. It's still the New England Patriots in a divisional game. Divisional games are always tough. How long have the Browns stunk, and we always struggle with the Browns.
Yeah.
So I think if you're 2-2 and you're the Jets, hey, here we go. Because that's a tough way to start.
It is a tough way to start. The Ravens backfield. Do you even try to even try to figure that one out?
Look,
and
we
just
all
stay
know
away?
who the guy should be, but
Yeah.
he's not in camp. Is he officially a holdout?
He is.
Did he show
well,
up?
So he is technically on the PUP
He's
list.
on the PUP. Okay.
Yeah.
So they
So
gave
it's
him
not
an,
technically a
so
holdout.
the, so the Ravens were nice and gave him an out.
Yeah. So who knows how long that'll last?
Such a
and-
nice organization. Look, I want Gus because I can get him for nothing in fantasy drafts, and he's got a role even if J.K.'s there.
Yeah.
I mean, J.K.'s the guy. I mean, he's the most talented guy. I hated the Gordon signing, but it is what it is. I mean, whatever.
They needed somebody. And
I guess you needed somebody, and you wanted a veteran.
Keaton Mitchell seemed exciting. Like
I love Keaton Mitchell.
Yeah.
I go watch Keaton Mitchell in a game. Don't watch highlights. Everybody's good in highlights. Go watch a game. Go watch a game that he played in. Pick any game. He's a good back. Ravens don't give those kids chances. Ain't give the kid last year a chance. You know,
the Tyler Baddies
Yeah.
and the
They ain't give him a chance.
Whoever, yeah.
No chance. He's a leading rusher in the SEC. Didn't give him a chance. Scored a touchdown, by the way, for in his first appearance for Denver, catching the ball out of the backfield.
Ravens could have used that.
Could have used that last year at some point, right? I mean, they didn't throw. I mean, that offense, they don't throw to backs. I'll assume this offense they will.
Mm-hmm. Seems like they should be throwing to everybody and
figuring
out.
You know, and that's the thing. I mean, Ravens. I mean, for me, obviously, I want Andrews. Obviously, you want Lamar. Lamar has his risks, of course, but top 5, whatever argument you want to make, he's well in the QB1 category in fantasy because of everything that he can do. What do you do? Where do you take J.K. Dobbins? You're rolling the dice until he gets into camp, depending when your draft is.
Mm-hmm.
Edwards, you can get late. What do you do with the wide receivers?
Yeah,
I mean,
would you be comfortable with taking any of them? I guess like round 9 and on, or is
yeah,
that even
I think
that too
that's
high?
No, I think that's right.
Okay.
I don't. I mean, I don't think you can. I don't think you can take any of them before round 9. I mean, none of them are. At best, they should be a wide receiver 3 on your roster. Really, they should be a wide receiver 4.
Mm-hmm.
Because let's take Odell. Everybody loves Odell. Okay, he's going to retire, but now he's all in. Okay, didn't love that comment. Whatever. If I told you right now, Odell Beckham Jr. caught 60 balls for 850 yards and 7 touchdowns, we'd all sign up for that right away, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a wide receiver 3. You know, I mean, it's there. You can project, like I said, 25 to 40 guys in that range, in the NFL this year. Okay. Would you rather have Odell Beckham Jr. at the numbers that I said, or Sky Moore?
I mean, probably. Well, I mean, Sky Moore's got Patrick Mahomes thrown to him, so I guess you could argue his upside's a
Tony's
little
already
higher.
hurt.
Tony, yeah.
Juju's not there anymore.
So, at like same value, like same price, like about the same time you draft.
Let's
I guess
say
Sky Moore.
8th round. Right.
Yeah,
I'm going to take Sky Moore. Why? Because we can see the upside.
Yeah.
The problem with the Ravens receivers, I think Zay Flowers could be really, really good. Wouldn't have been the wide receiver. Wouldn't have been my choice. But I understand his value in this Ravens offense.
Who did you want the Ravens? Who did you want the Ravens?
I'm just not a small wide receiver.
Oh, okay.
Guy.
After Hollywood Brown and
yeah. Well, I've never been. I mean, my typical whenever I like wide receivers, I'll go back to Marquise Brown. I didn't want Marquise Brown. I was pull the tape from our draft show.
Okay.
I wanted A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown is my guy. A.J. Brown, Rashid Bateman, those 6 foot, 6'2", 210, 215, run good routes, got some speed. That's what I like in an NFL receiver. I don't like slot guys, especially in the first round. I definitely don't like guys that have been hurt their whole career in the first round. So those are the guys I like. So it wasn't. Look, I love Zay's tape, and I think maybe he's the exception to the rule of guys that are 5'10", 180-pound guys that are really, really good. Maybe he is the next Tyreek Hill. Maybe he is the next Steve Smith Sr.
Who knows? But in this offense this year, is there really going to be a 1,200-yard guy? Is there going to be a 1,200-yard guy? You kind of feel like they're going to spread it out. You know, Andrew's going to get his. Odell's going to get a little bit of his. Zay's going to get, if Bateman's there, or, you know, Aguilar's going to catch 300 yards worth and annoy people. You know, maybe the running backs catch more than 25 passes this year.
You can hope, I guess.
Likely would have a role. Like, you can see where it's really spread. So in fantasy, which is not reality, in reality, that's a really good thing. You never know. As a defense, I don't know who's going to get the ball. They all get the ball. But in fantasy, they're all the same.
Mm-hmm.
They're all the same. You know, maybe I take a shot. Maybe the one I draft the highest is Zay because he's got the most upside. But I don't know what the upside is this year.
Yeah.
And that's my problem. You know, do I want Zay? Do I want Zay Jones? I'll give it this. Do I want Zay Jones? I'm going to go back to the Kansas City thing. Do I want Zay Jones in round 10, or do I want Rice in round 14? I'll take Rice in 14 because I don't know if he turns into their number 2 receiver.
Upside,
the
rookie upside's higher than some guy who's been
just for this year.
Flame out for
just for this year.
Right.
You know, if Odell's not there next year and Zay's now the number 1 guy and he proves that he's going to be the number 1 guy, and okay, if that's Lamar's guy, it turns out to be. But for this year, it's a tough projection. It's a tough projection.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I see we have a guest.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Well, you know, if you go to PressBox, they're offering a new sports bettors the best sign-up bonus and promos from 7 legal online sports books. Go to PressBoxOnline.com/offers now and get offers like $150 in bonus bets from DraftKings after placing your first $10 bet, or up to $1,250 in bonus bets from Caesars. Time is limited to get the best offers from all of the sportsbooks. Go to PressBoxOnline.com/offers and sign up today. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we have the one, the only, Jamie Watson joining us in studio. You're listening to Glenn Clark Radio.
It's another exciting weekend of affordable family fun at Prince George's Stadium with the Bowie Bay Sox. One of the most special nights of the season on Friday the 4th, Navy Night. Come celebrate the newest plebe class. Back-to-back fireworks carry on to Saturday with our pregame Touch a Truck event. And it's the last of our big hitter bobbleheads, Colton Cowser, on Sunday for the first 750 fans. Get your tickets now by calling 301-805-6000 or anytime online at baysox.com. The Bowie Bay Sox. Let us be your 9-inning vacation.
The All-America Senior Game powered by New Balance will be back at Johns Hopkins Homewood Field on July 29th. The most decorated girls and boys lacrosse players in the country have been invited to play in what is the premier lacrosse event of the year. Every college coach wants their players in this game, and if you dream of being in this game, you start by trying out for one of your regional underclass teams this summer. The best against the best. Get your tickets now at allamericalacrosse.com.
Soak up summertime fun in Charm City. Enjoy only in Baltimore festivals, mouth-watering eats, and endless entertainment. Cheer on the O's at Camden Yards. Pick crabs by the waterfront. Beat the heat inside a world-class museum, and make memories that will last a lifetime. Go to baltimore.org for more information and to plan your visit.
I'm Michael Jangrandy, president of AJ Michaels, your carrier energy expert for 44 years. Save money, energy, and make your home more comfortable and virus-free. Find us at ajmichaels.com. That's ajmichaels.com.
The latest edition of PressBox is available now. On the cover, Dave Ginsburg remembers Goose as he looks back on the impact that late Tony Saragusa had both on and off the field here in Baltimore. Plus, he explains how Goose's kids are working to continue that legacy with the Goose Flights program. Also inside, Todd Karpovich profiles the path Tyler Wells has taken to becoming a star in the Orioles rotation. And you'll find a special summer travel guide with information about events and activities throughout the state. PressBox is available for free at over 500 area locations, including 60 Royal Farm stores. And you can always find the entire edition, as well as the best daily coverage of the O's, Ravens, and Terps at PressBoxOnline.com.
That first sip. That first bite. Start your day off right with a delicious breakfast at Royal Farms. Choose from a fantastic selection of fresh Royal Farms breakfast sandwiches and top it off with a rich hot cup of the freshest coffee in the world. At Royal Farms, breakfast is available day and night. It's the freshest breakfast in the world. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
It's a Maryland thing you wouldn't understand.
Where the waves meet the shore, you will find Dorchester County. Hi, this is Jimmy Charles. When I think of Maryland, I think Dorchester County on the eastern shore where it's open for making memories. Dorchester County, it's a Maryland thing. For more info, visit www.visitdorchester.org.
It's a Maryland thing. Hell yeah. It's a Maryland thing. Hell yeah.
If you miss anything on the show, don't forget that you can watch full episodes at youtube.com/pressboxonline, and you can download podcasts on Apple, iTunes, Amazon, and Grindr. Wait, did I say Grindr? I don't think that you would find it on Grindr. Not that I know it's on Grindr or anything, I swear. On second thought, you know what? I don't care what you think. Here's Glenn.
Still not Glenn. When's Glenn back? Monday?
Yeah, Monday.
Who's in Friday? I'm here tomorrow.
Stan will be back Friday.
Stan is back Friday. Stan
Yes.
can only handle a 3-day week.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
Yeah,
he said
yeah.
he said there's absolutely no way that
No way that he could do 5 days.
He was at the Phillies game last night. He went up to Philly. For
Oh,
the,
did he?
Yes.
Good
for
for him.
the Phillies, and then Thursday.
Been a lot of Orioles fans there.
Yes.
Been a lot of Orioles fans
everywhere, even
maybe,
in Tampa.
Maybe they went and took a Toyota Tacoma because it comes in a range of models and trim lines, and you can choose the perfect Tacoma to reflect your unique personality. Probably had a tie-dye one for Stan. And driving habits. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on the new Tacomas from your local Toyota dealer today. And we have a very special guest who I have a long, long history and love to death, the one and only Miss Jamie Watson. Hello.
Hey, good morning. The feeling is mutual, as you know.
Yes, well, we have a long history of being on the radio together, so or whatever it is.
Yeah.
What are we on? Or do we still call this radio? We
Yeah,
call it Glenn
yeah,
Clark
that's,
Radio.
that's what
Internet radio, whatever we call
That's
it.
what we're trying to do.
But Jamie does so many things, but she is one of the voices of the NWSL, the Women's Professional Soccer League, voice of Loyola. Let's see, soccer. Lacrosse.
No lacrosse.
No lacrosse.
Nope.
Just soccer.
And basketball.
And basketball.
Women's basketball.
Women's basketball.
Love it. Love all of it.
There you go. And of course, still the golf enthusiast.
Not so
Not
much
as
anymore.
much.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
I mean,
well.
I have really moved on.
That's good.
Yeah, it is good.
Hey,
it happens in life, right?
it does. It does. But I'm we're going to talk soccer. And
Amen.
I'm as you know, I'm a soccer guy, former women's coach over at Friends, and way into the World Cup, and we have the U.S. taking on the Netherlands tonight, which on paper is their toughest group's opponent. Netherlands also a top 10 in the world team. I think they're 8 or 9, if I'm not mistaken.
9.
And let me ask you a question first about the United States. Handled Vietnam was not a fun game to watch. It was Vietnam did what inferior teams should do, which is put 11 young ladies behind the ball from 35 yards and in, and said, if we can tie 0-0 or we can counterattack you and tie you 1-1, we're going to do it because we can't compete with you. It does not make for exciting soccer to watch on TV. And I heard a lot of people who you get a lot of eyes these days on the product that don't watch soccer altogether. And if they do watch soccer, they definitely don't watch women's soccer. I'm not one of those people. I watch all soccer. And, I was actually in South Carolina. I was watching with my parents. And my dad, everything my dad knows about soccer is from watching Jonah, who's a soccer player. He's a goalie. And he doesn't know much. And we're watching, and he's like, this is awful. Why? He goes, why are you doing? I was like, do you understand how tough it is to have 11 people in front of you at all times. There's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to pass. It's like they keep turning the ball over, I said, because they're trying to penetrate. I said, eventually it'll work out. I said, the good news is that Vietnam will never score. They'll never get past midfield. But what do you say to those people that watched the Vietnam game and now they're like, you know what, I can't watch this. This is just boring. I'll wait. I'll wait until, it's a semifinals and maybe they can win something. Because the last World Cup was exciting as could be, the entire way for the women, and I thought the U.S. team 4 years ago was much more dynamic. Now they're really young. We don't know the names anymore. We know a couple.
14 new players, Ken, which is why I'm not so sure they're going to lift the trophy. I hope I'm wrong, but they are not my pick to win. And speaking to the rise of women's soccer, the World Cup has expanded to 32 teams, Ken. So that's why you get the Vietnams that are going to sit in a low block and they're going to say, do your best. And you broke it down perfectly. And the U.S., boy, they just kept knocking until they broke through. And they did 3 times. They won that game. But let's talk about tonight's game, please. 9 p.m. It's the rematch of the 2019 Women's World Cup. The United States against the Netherlands. And if you recall, Pino scored the PK, and then Rose Lavelle iced it, and the women brought home their back-to-back. And so this World Cup, they're going for a three-peat. Nobody has done that, men's or women's, so that's exciting. Whoever comes out at the top of this group, okay, it's important to come out number 1, all right, because you have an easier road. You're going to play a second-place team in the round of 16. So everything, if you are a sports fan, you need to tune in tonight, 9 p.m. on Fox Sports.
So with so many young players, and look, right now, Smith's getting all the attention because she obviously, and we knew she was going to be a good player, but she scores the 2 goals, she gets the assist, and she's Miss America right now. In order for the United States to win tonight, because I think it's going to be a tough game because the Netherlands can play.
Agreed.
Who do we need to look for outside of Smith? And outside of, we'll see how much, Rapinoe and Lavelle play. Probably smart against Vietnam not to play him a whole lot. Didn't need him to win, coming back off of a little nicks and things like that. But outside of the obvious, who are we looking at the United States that needs to play an important role tonight for a victory to come out?
Yeah, I think unquestionably the answer is Lynn Williams. Lynn Williams did not play at all against Vietnam because I think Vlatko, who loves Williams, her ability to play defense as a forward, which as a former coach is,
yes.
we love forwards who play defense, and none better than Lynn Williams, who's having an MVP type of year in the NWSL. I think I would love to see her start up front, Ken, with Sophia Smith on the left and Rodman on the right. The Netherlands cannot match that speed. And if they come out in a 3-5-2, Ken, which they pretty much have been playing, that leaves space on the flanks for Smith and Rodman to exploit, to get that ball into Williams to score. But I'd be very surprised to see if the Netherlands does that. I think they're going to go to 4 backs. But anyway, we'll see. This is the things that's why we tune in. Also, Julie Ertz, I don't believe she plays on the back line, Ken. I think they put Cook in. They move Ertz forward to play with Horan and Lavelle and Sanchez. Ashley Sanchez. I was not impressed with Andy Sullivan. I think she's very good, by the way. The Washington Spirit player right down the road, folks. Get into going to see the NWSL. Shiva played this morning for Ireland, who was also there. And, of course, Aubrey Kingsbury, who I don't know we'll see any time. But the Washington Spirit locally, get down and see them if you can. The NWSL has 61 players in the World Cup, Ken.
Yeah. Look, I mean, it's come a long way, for sure. They lost some of their firepower. Couple players went overseas, which, why wouldn't you? You make more money there. But let's go back. I like everything you said about the formation. I didn't hear a name there.
You didn't hear Alex Morgan?
I didn't hear Alex Morgan.
Yeah.
You got her on the bench?
It's bold. It's but yeah, I do. It's just my take. I'd love to see the 3 of them up front. I think Alex struggled to connect with Smith and Rodman in that game against Vietnam. But and you've got to get Lynn Williams some minutes. It's a bold move, but we've got 14 new players. It's a new era in USA soccer.
I would love to see it. Okay, I would, and everything Alex Morgan. I'm going to say this. It's going to sound so terrible. Everything Alex Morgan has done for the United States, I truly appreciate, but she's not 22 anymore, and she even in the back pass on the one goal was just it's magic. But that's what she can do now. But she can't be that 9 anymore in the center that everything's looking for. To me, the key to the entire thing is Rose Lavelle.
Agreed.
I think. I'm biased. I was very upset when she went overseas because she was going to play in DC.
Right.
But I was very upset when they tried. I was like,
me too.
No.
I know. I love Lavelle.
The game against Vietnam changed when she came on the pitch.
Agreed.
She is so heads and shoulders above 99% of the players playing in the World Cup. Forget about the professional league. I mean, she is to me, she's a top 5 player in the world that, because of some injuries and some things, just hasn't been able to be on that stage as much. Now, if she looked really fit when she came in the other night. I think she's the key of everything, and she not only skill-wise, but understanding the game-wise and where the balls are supposed to be. I don't think they'll do it. I don't think they'll sit Morgan. I don't think he has the guts to do it. But I would love to see it. It was really, and I just want to warn everybody, you can't take anything away from the Vietnam game. I heard people saying, "Oh, their touches were terrible, the middle of the field." They didn't need anything. They're literally sitting there and never touching the ball in the back line and things like that. So it's tough. This is going to be a much more wide open game. With the Netherlands, what the United States need to be fearful of?
Well, good question. I was about to say Vivian Medina, but she is out with and I think that really matters. So her not replacement, I shouldn't say that, is I'm going to pronounce this right, Lieke Martens, who is 30 years old, and she's got 59 international goals, but I didn't see much from her in the game against Portugal, a 1-0 victory by the Netherlands. So, we'll see. They do have a ton of experience, Ken. This squad has chemistry. They've known each other. Like 5 or 6 players have over 100 caps, unlike the USA.
Right.
So it is going to be a really a tough match, and I'm interested to get your score prediction in a minute.
Mine? Oh, I don't know. It's been a weird. Didn't we just have the first game where both teams scored in the World Cup?
I think it was the second, but
was it the second? But it
doesn't happen much.
It hasn't happened much,
right.
And it's weird. I mean, you made a really good point. I don't want to gloss over it too much with the women's game, but the 32 teams is huge because there are 10 teams that don't belong in the World Cup. I mean, let's call it what it is. They're just not ready for this stage yet. It's great. It's great for the build of the game. It sort of reminds me of the beginning of the WNBA. They had so many teams in WNBA that it seemed watered down because there wasn't. You couldn't have a team like the Aces are right now, where you had big 3, big 4, and superstars on every team. Now you have superstars on every team. It doesn't feel as watered down anymore. Women's soccer on the international level is right there now. Like you're expanding it. You're going to see the same thing with the Men's World Cup. When they expand it to 64, you're going to see 20 teams, maybe more, that just don't belong on the international stage. They're not ready yet because their games have. Now they're going to get in because they finished 5th in the Middle Eastern bracket, and they're going to get their 4 teams in. But the 4th team from the Middle Eastern bracket isn't as good as the 12th team from the European bracket.
Of course, it's part of the process.
So that's
though.
it's part of the process, and they're going to grow. And next time you see Vietnam, they'll be much better
for sure. Get a shot on goal, perhaps.
But right now, you're not, and I think that's why we're seeing a lot more shutouts. Although we have seen some surprises.
Can we talk about that?
I mean,
the Philippines,
the Philippines,
the debutantes. Ireland just was one up on Canada, but couldn't hold on.
But
still,
we've seen. I mean, Canada with their 1-0. Wasn't it France and Jamaica?
That sounds
tied,
about right. Yeah,
tied 0-0.
That's right.
So
you get surprises.
So you get surprises. I mean, France is probably one of the top 5 favorites in the whole thing.
Agreed. I love France.
And so there's been some surprises, and that's where, when people say, it was boring and there haven't been many good games, I said you're sort of right. I said, but you're gonna get that this year.
Tonight,
tune in. Tonight's not going to be one of them. Tonight should be a good back and forth game. I think I'm going to tell you. I don't know what my score is going to be. I'll give it to you because I'm still processing that.
Okay.
But it's going to be the highest scoring game of the tournament. Not total goals, but where both teams. I don't think there's been a game yet where both teams have scored 2+ goals. It's been 2-1. I think it's been 1-1. The ties. I don't think any team. I don't think there's been a 2-2. I don't think there's been a 2-1. I don't
today
think
was 2-1. Canada beat.
Oh, I didn't
Ireland.
see that.
Okay.
Yet. Okay. So Canada. Okay, but it's going to be at least 2-2. I don't know how many more it's going to be yet.
Interesting.
I think you're going to see a very wide open game because neither one of these teams is going to pack it in, and they're both talented. I think the United States does win, and I think the point you made, experience is great, but too much of that experience and too many 30-year-olds against a bunch of 21-year-olds does not work. And the United States can really athletically run circles. If they allow it to be a wide-open game, I think they can run circles around the Netherlands and just wear them down. I think it's going to be a very close game at the half. I think the second half, and especially the last 20 minutes, I think the United States pulls away, and I'm going to go 4-2.
Oh my gosh, I would love to see 6 goals.
I'm going to go 4-2, and I just think it's going to be a wide open game because it's just the nature of these teams. First of all, neither one of them like to sit back. We'll see how the United States decides to play it as far as their lineup, but they have. I like the United States going young early and bringing the veterans off the bench.
Agreed.
Second half, midway through the second half, and really take it home. But it's like not 4-2 is my prediction. Maybe I'm just hoping for an exciting game.
I'll etch it in stone over here. So
etch it in stone.
Yeah,
okay.
Thank you, please.
Because all my predictions are so right. So let's talk general World Cup. You said the United States is not your pick. Who is your pick?
Germany.
Damn Germans. They are very good.
Yeah, and my golden boot player is Pop, Alexander Pop, and it's only because last year, if you watched her go through the Euros, and Ken, she's 31 years old, so it's she's a seasoned player, and she just seems to get it done, and getting the ball in the back of the net. So that's my pick to win. And I hope I'm wrong. I really want USA to make history, winning 3 in a row.
Well, it's one of those things. If you don't get the United States women this year, you may never get them. Okay? Because where the talent level that they have right now, they have kids that didn't make this roster. That I'm just telling you, I'm like, she didn't make the roster? She didn't make the roster? It's like, what?
Like
what?
who? Give me some names.
Davidson.
Oh, Tierna, yeah. Chicago.
What?
Chicago.
How is she off this? Now, I don't know if she's got an injury or a knock.
She is coming off of
she's
an
one
injury.
of the, she to me is one of the better outside backs that they have.
Interesting.
And so that's the one name, and they have a couple of other younger players that I think may have been hurt or training or things like that. But they have so much youth and so much more that's coming.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of the top teams outside of Germany are getting older. and they don't have that youth.
Agreed.
You talk about, you made the great point with the Netherlands. They have so much experience. Well, so much experience means older.
It does. It does.
It sucks.
100
I have lots of experience. I can't do it anymore.
It's It's the age-old argument, isn't it, Ken?
It is.
You know?
It is. So I just think if you're going to get the United States this year in the women's game, this is the year to do it. There's a change. There's going to be, actually with Rapinoe retiring at the end of the World Cup. That's the official end of this era. I know Morgan's still there, but she's a little bit younger and probably has another. I don't know if she hangs on for the next World Cup as a veteran leader or not, but we'll see. In the NWSL, obviously she's scoring goals at record clips and things like that. I'd never want to see her take another penalty kick in my life.
Exactly. That's where we miss Pino, I tell you.
That
my money's on her 100 times out of 100.
It was funny when she stepped up and the announcer was talking about it and how much success she's had. I turned to my son. I was like, she's not a really good penalty taker. She never has been. There's a reason she's never taking them for the United States. Never.
Yeah, I think she had make four out of 5 in the NWSL, but it's a different stage.
Right.
Yeah.
Like if Pino was on and Carly was on, she never took them.
Agreed.
And so it's like, and I was like, and she was the only one to take them. She was the only one that was going to take them because Rose wasn't on at the time and Pino wasn't on at the time. So it's like, unless you were going to take Horan or Ertz to take it, she is the obvious one. They're not going to let the kids take it yet. But it's like as soon as she stepped up, I'm like, and then she hit it. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it was it was a lot of pressure, but yeah, it's no
terrible.
excuse. Yeah,
they were talking about, and then they started talking about how good the goalkeepers were against penalty kicks so far because in the Canada game, goalkeeper saved. I was like, can we talk about how awful the penalty takers have been so far?
Yeah, it's
like it was like any save by a goal. Look, my son's a goalkeeper. They can kick it right to him on a PK. It's the greatest save in the world on a PK. You're not expected to save him.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's a lot of pressure. But I hope she doesn't have to take any more. Let's talk a little NWSL as you're one of the voices. Who are the top teams? Are they doing the break like hockey does and things like that? And when do how soon after the World Cup do they pick back up? And who should we be watching the rest of the way?
Well, for starters, the World Cup July 20th to August 20th. So those 61 players representing the NWSL will not be available. They also did take a week-long break, but during this time of the FIFA World Cup, they insert what is called the Leagues Cup in the MSL. It's called the Challenge Cup in the NWSL. And it's really, when you talk about process, KZ, it's important that all these other players get to step up. Kristen Hamilton scored a hat trick for Kansas City Current, and that's exciting to see. We love seeing goals, right?
Yep.
So, I'm calling the game on Saturday night. Again, it is Chicago Red Star, your Tierna Davidson team, struggling mightily struggling against the Kansas City Current. So I'm excited because I'm a big fan of Kristen Hamilton, and I think there's going to be a lot of goal scores. We'll be interested to see if Chicago steps up. But anyway, Challenge Cup. NWSL is, North Carolina, I think prime Coach of the Year candidate Sean Nahas. They were getting crushed. Remember, Dabinia left, Caroline left, and yet, once again, he shouted for patience, and sure enough, they are now sitting at the top of the table. And I think there's maybe 7 weeks left in the NWSL. The championship game is on November 11th on CBS. Please tune in. So, yeah, I just think you're getting most of the best, players in the world. No other leagues can have more players in the World Cup than the NWSL.
Yeah, that is 100% true. And the great part is that you don't have to go too far if you live close. It's that team over in D.C.
Amen.
You can check out. They play at Aldi as well. Do they play at Aldi?
They do. This year they finally got upstage to the men's.
So I'm going to RFK Sunday.
Oh, what's happening?
The men's premier summer tour.
Oh, who's playing?
So it sounds awful. I know Chelsea's playing somebody. I know Fulham's playing somebody, but Chelsea game's the second game. It's 2 games for 1. So you got you got a 12 o'clock game and you got a 2:45 game. So we're excited about that.
That's cool.
So lots of soccer around, and who better to hear than the lovely Jamie Watson's voice on these broadcasts.
You are so wonderful. Thank you, Ken. I'm having so much fun. It is the best. I love it.
It's awesome.
I don't want to do anything else.
It's awesome. So happy for you.
Thank you.
So proud of you because I know it. I know the journey. I know the journey. So
you do. Yeah. And the one thing I love about you is the passion for soccer. You are a man who will watch women's soccer. Ken's tweeting me during the Vietnam game, which I loved. I love to see it, and that's what we need is more support all the way around to, lift us up.
Yeah. No, it's a great game, and if you soured and you were turning for the first time and you say, no, I'm going to check this out, and you watch the Vietnam game, turn this one on. It'll get you back. It'll be a more up and down game. It'll be a lot more fun. Netherlands will not sit with people behind the ball. They're going to attack the United States, and it'll be fun. Can you hang around for the last segment?
I'd love to. Time? You need my prediction. I'd love to.
I need your prediction. But just want to remind everybody that Stan, the fan Charles, has changed the format for his weekly shows. Now every Monday at 6 p.m., Stan will be joined by former Orioles pitcher Ross Grimsley and Press Box's managing editor Luke Jackson to break down the latest with the Birds. Every Thursday night, Stan and Gary Stein. Gary Stein's still around?
What do you mean he's still around? Yeah, he's still around.
I just like to mess with Gary Stein. We'll still chat with a different newsmaker from the sports world. This week, they chatted with Superbook odds maker John Murray. You can watch the shows live at facebook.com/PressBox or find them the next day at PressBoxOnline.com/video and YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline. So join Stan, Ross, and Luke this and every Monday night. And, of course, don't forget Gary Stein on Thursdays. I mean, you can't forget Gary. Hey, you're listening to...
And we'll program that they are on tonight. That is so Stan wanted me to make sure I let you know that they are on tonight. They're gonna
Tonight's Wednesday.
Yeah, I know tonight's Wednesday, but he did some programming rearranging. So for this week, just this week.
He had a busy week with stepping in for Glenn.
Yes, exactly.
So Glenn can tweet from the beach.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're going to have Rob Ambrose, the former
Rob Ambrose.
Yes,
oh, absolutely.
Yes, former
absolutely.
football coach.
Definitely check that out.
At 7.
So at 6 or
7.
7
tonight.
7 tonight, Wednesday.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Who's he with?
I think it'll be Gary.
It will be with Gary.
Stan, Gary,
Stan and Gary.
Coach Ambrose.
And Coach Ambrose. Very exciting. Very, very exciting. You are watching, listening, whatever you're doing. I am KZ in for Glenn Clark Radio, and we'll be right back.
Catch that festival feeling in Charm City. Everywhere you go, you'll find exciting entertainment, delicious eats, and endless summertime fun. Cheer on the O's at Camden Yards, pick crabs by the waterfront, beat the heat inside a world-class museum, and make memories that will last a lifetime. Go to baltimore.org for more information and to plan your visit.
I'm Michael Giangrandy, president of AJ Michaels, your carrier energy expert for 44 years. Save money, energy, and make your home more comfortable and virus-free. Find us at ajmichaels.com. That's ajmichaels.com.
Your summer destination is closer than you think at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. With an expansive gaming floor and incredible dining options ready for you to explore, your adventure awaits. Dine at the new Coho Korean Barbecue House coming in July or on the patio at the Prime Rib. Enjoy the summertime breeze at Orchid Smoking Patio. Limited time packages starting at $229. What are you waiting for? Book now. At Arundel Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All electronic tolling is here to stay in Maryland, and DriveEasyMD.com helps you cruise a little easier. We're Maryland's tolling resource, home to EasyPass, pay-by-plate, and video tolling. It's never been easier to pay your way. DriveEasyMD.com will keep you moving.
The Orioles are off and running, out to prove that last season wasn't a fluke, and they are one of the best teams in baseball. Hi, I'm Paul Valley, host of the Bat Around for PressBox. Tune in every Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon as Zach Goodman and I break down every Adley bomb, every Tony Tater, and every save from the mountain. Like a warm hug from Rutschman, the Bat Around has you covered with all things Orioles as we embark on what's sure to be a magical summer in Birdland. So tune in every Saturday for the best in Orioles coverage right here on the Bat Around.
Another exciting weekend of affordable family fun at Prince George's Stadium with the Bowie Bay Sox. One of the most special nights of the season on Friday the 4th, Navy Night. Come celebrate the newest plebe class. Back-to-back fireworks carry on to Saturday with our pregame Touch a Truck event. And it's the last of our big hitter bobbleheads, Colton Cowser on Sunday for the first 750 fans. Get your tickets now by calling 301-805-6000 or anytime online at baysox.com. The Bowie Bay Sox. Let us be your 9-inning vacation.
Whether your focus is luxury and comfort, convenience and technologically advanced connectivity, or sporty performance and aggressive styling, we've got the perfect Highlander for you. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Highlanders from your local Toyota dealer today.
Costas Inn has been serving up delicious steamed crabs for over 50 years. Lately, the crabs you want to eat when the weather warms up have gotten harder and harder to get, so get your crab eating game plan in place. Make sure to stick this number on your fridge, 410-477-1975. Call ahead and reserve the size crabs you want. You may be able to walk in, but you may also be disappointed at the size or maybe even get shut out altogether. So call ahead, have a plan, and then arrive on your crab eating vacation. Costas also has delicious crab soup and crab cakes. The Costas Inn at 4100 North Point Boulevard. For more than 50 years, they've been satisfying crab lovers in and around Baltimore.
That first sip. That first bite. Start your day off right with a delicious breakfast at Royal Farms. Choose from a fantastic selection of fresh Royal Farms breakfast sandwiches and top it off with a rich hot cup of the freshest coffee in the world. At Royal Farms, breakfast is available day and night. It's the freshest breakfast in the world. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
If you need more of Glenn, you can also hear him every Sunday with Rita on 105.7 The Fan. But also, if you need more of Glenn, what's wrong with you?
Back in already? But I was in mid-sentence. Man. I gotta get my timing back. I need that little timer on the wall again. The latest edition of Press Box is available now. And on the cover, Dave Ginberg remembers the goose as he looks back on the impact of the late Tony Saragusa had on both on and off the field in Baltimore. Plus, he explains how Goose's kids are working to continue that legacy with Goose Flight's program. Also inside, Todd Karpovich profiles the path of Tyler Wells has taken to becoming a star in the Orioles rotation. And you'll find a special summer travel guide with information about events and activities throughout the state. Press Box is available for free at over 500 area locations, including 60 different Royal Farm stores. And you can always find the entire edition as well as the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps at PressBoxOnline.com. So we are back, and we are here for our last segment. We got lots to do this segment. Jamie has been kind enough. We were talking off the air a little bit about how you get more eyes on the women's game. And the World Cup is always the springboard. You know, it was the springboard to the National League. You know, I guess the second generation of the National League as we know it now.
Right.
You know, to get more eyes. And they'll have that. And what I was about to say as we came back is, like, I wish that and I know they're starting for the first time. You talked about the CONCACAF Gold Cup for the women's side, which will be great. But they need to do more of that with the national team. They need to have more friendlies that are televised and promoted better from Fox and from ESPN when they're on ESPN and things like that. It's just they seem to have the TV starting momentum behind them. I still think that the offices of not only the United States women's team but the NWSL, their marketing department needs to step it up. They need to let the common person that's not the soccer fan, that doesn't follow it like you and I, and we're saying, Griffin, you're the one that they need. Like you're the guy, you're the viewer that they need to pay attention on a Wednesday night, not during the season of the World Cup, that the United States is taking on Zimbabwe in the United States friendly, and who the players are, and start to get more interactive, and because the game is growing. And it's good that it's growing, but it's also, you have to be smart how you grow it. And my example was with this World Cup. There are you expand to 32. There are 6 to 8 teams that don't belong. From a talent standpoint, it's great
Agreed.
that they're here. It's great that they're doing. But the more leagues you have and the more opportunity you have, yes, it's great for the women, but it also waters down each league a little bit. It waters down the World Cup. When we get to the round of 16, this is going to be a dogfight of a tournament, because there, to me, are 6 teams that I can name you right now that can win the World Cup.
Go ahead.
Okay?
Go.
I think, United States, Germany. I think the Netherlands can win the World Cup. I think France can win the World Cup. Okay?
Spain?
It's probably 7. But
Yeah, right.
But we just named 5 teams that we think can win the World Cup. When you get to the point where there's 12 teams that can win the World Cup, then 32 makes sense. But right now, until you get to 16, I don't think. Give me your surprise team, if you have one, that's going to make the final 16.
Brazil. 16?
16.
16.
I can't find one.
Right.
I can't find a surprise team.
Right. Yeah, I'd have to look at that.
And that's my thing.
Yeah.
When you can finally start to have the team, somebody break through, it's not expected to make that final 16. Sort of two times ago when Italy in the Men's World Cup was on its way down, and all of a sudden they didn't make the World Cup at all. It's like, how much talent is there around? Italy's not making the World Cup. Italy's a perennial favorite every year to make the World Cup. Until you're building towards that, and you have to walk to 32 before then. But for the lay fan, these early games, some of them are not going to be very exciting. And when you're getting 6-0 and you're getting 0-0, I think 0-0 soccer, if it's played the right way, is some of the most exciting, exhilarating sporting content you can find.
Agreed.
But how you feel about 0-0 soccer games?
I mean, yeah, if it's if there's a lot of chances, obviously, and you get some some magnificent saves, some great defense being played, then
what if
I
you
could be
didn't
all
see?
for
What
it.
if,
But,
what if you didn't see the game?
Then I'm not gonna be too interested.
Yeah, if you
in
didn't see the
seeing-
game, you're like,
yeah,
I just
Oh,
wasted.
is it
I just
0-0?
wasted 100 minutes and nobody did anything. It all. I'm a big. Do you watch The Big Bang Theory?
No.
Okay, you watch The Big Bang Theory?
Unfortunately, no, I don't.
Unfortunately, no. There's a scene there where 2 of the main characters are wrestling, and the third one is the referee. And he finally says, he goes, guys, we've been here for a half hour, nobody's touched anyone. And it reminds me of that. Like, people say that about 0-0 games. Like, okay, I've been here for 90 minutes and nobody's done a thing. And that's the problem. It's like, does a 0-0 game that you see make you want to tune into the next game? It doesn't. So how do we make that exciting? We start we start to let people see more 0-0 games on TV more often, so they can see how exciting it is.
Should we do what the NFL does? Should we have our cornerbacks lay down and just make it an offensive league and
you're about
touchdowns
to.
and right?
If you listen to the governing bodies of soccer, they're about to really screw up the game.
Wait, they pull defenders off the field?
No, they're about to make offside. They're about to.
Oh, the
there's
offsides.
the offsides
Yeah.
is which. Okay, whatever you want to say with VAR and all that stuff. If any part of your body is ahead of the last defender, you're offsides. Well, now they're going to try. Now they're trying to change it to your entire body. If any part of your body is even with the defender, you're not offsides. So you could have your toenail. So they're going to reverse how they do VAR. First, it was going forward. Now they're going to go backward. If your toenail is even with the last defender, but your entire rest of your body's forward, you're now onside if this passes. You want to talk about an open game? That's going to open the game.
Mm-hmm. Well,
0-0 will be a thing of the past.
Shout out to Glenn Clark, who we worked together at Loyola, and he would like to eradicate the entire offside altogether. By the way, Glenn, thanks for having me on. And can we pivot to football for 1 second, because I'm looking at the Lamar-o-meter. What a brilliant that Lamar-o-meter kept me in while Lamar was renegotiating, and just a brilliant idea. I just assumed it was Glenn's, but it's so I can't believe I'm seeing it in person. I love it, and I think the Ravens win the Super Bowl this year. I know I'm a positivity person, but I see it in 58 and 59. So Lamar will make good on his statement of I'm going to bring a Super Bowl here.
Should we give her the would you rather for the Ravens too?
Yeah, go ahead.
The would you rather? Hold on, I gotta make sure.
Did you hear would you rather the Ravens go 10-7, make the playoffs, but once again bow out after the first playoff game, or make it to the Super Bowl, but lose 45-3 in the Super Bowl?
Who does these questions? Is that Glenn?
That was me.
Oh, that was you. All right, brilliant question. Because I just think they're going to get to the Super Bowl and win. That's my answer. I'm terrible.
You can't.
I'm
That's
terrible.
not how the game works.
Yes,
it's either or.
I'm
the
an
game works
awful
either
guest.
or.
I'm a terrible guest. I can't stand these. By the way,
they're great.
I see Glenn does them all the time, and I'm
this
just like,
is what, your answer
I'm
should
not.
get you ridiculed on Twitter now. That's
Yes.
what Glenn goes back and does.
Right, exactly right. I'm not the best person for that game. So let's move on.
So before we move on, because we got lots of things to do, we're going to go through the Would You Rathers. Again, do we have any responses?
We can go over some of the
responses, and we
later.
have Totally Tubular, and we have all that. What's your score prediction for tonight's game between the U.S. and the Netherlands?
It's so funny is that I really have looked at it, and I just think it's not going to be a high score. Completely opposite of what Ken said. I want it to be, but I think on this stage, the revenge factor from the Netherlands, the USA, number 1 ranked team in the world. I think their last not 10 matches, they're 8-1-1 all time, undefeated in their last 9 over the Netherlands. The USA is favored to win. I do think they win, but I think it's going to be a struggle. I think it's going to be a 1-0 USA victory.
Hey, I don't care. I don't care 4-2 or 1-0. If the United States wins, I'm all for it. But be a little bit more nail biting with 1-0.
Who are some of these younger players? I mean, you guys are talking about the Rapinos are moving on, the Alex Morgans. Who are the young players that my generation should be looking out for tonight as we talk about the future?
Lynn Williams is going to be one. Rodman's going to be another one. Smith's going to be another one. I mean, Rose Lavelle is still young enough that I'm biased. I think she's the greatest soccer player in the world. She could literally be Messi if the United States would let her.
Oh my gosh!
Okay?
He is stepping out on Lavelle.
Messi to me is magic. Okay,
he's just genius.
Magic. He's just magic.
Genius.
She's magic to me. Whenever she's on the field, whatever team she plays for is instantly different when she's on the field and when she's off the field, and she's such a difference maker to me. And you can play her literally anywhere. You could play her as center mid. You could play her as attacking forward. You could even put her outside if you needed to, because she has the speed to do it. Her foot skill is just different than any other player, even on the United States team. If you think the United States is the best team in the world, and I know they're ranked 1, but if you think they're the best team in the world, to me, she's the best player on the best team in the world.
Agreed. Let me answer your question, though. Rose Lavelle, too, but Naomi Girma on the back line, Alana Cook. They only have a handful of, I forget the exact number of appearances playing together. So that back line is young. That's something that the Netherlands is going to hope to exploit. You've got the veteran Kristen Dunn as an outside back, Crystal Dunn. And then one of my favorite players is Emily Fox, criminally underrated, plays for the North Carolina Courage in the NWSL. So it's a young back line except for Dunn. So the midfield is, I think, the key, which is where Rose Lavelle lives. Ken, do you think she gets the start tonight?
I think she has to.
I agree.
I think she has to. You didn't start her the other day. That's fine. I understood that. But this is the game you got to win. The next game you're going to win.
Right.
This
is the game.
You're going to throw 10 people on the field. I know they play with 11. I don't count the goalie. The goalie goes where they go. Sorry, goalie dad. It doesn't count. Any 10 that they choose, they're going to win the next game. This is the game. There's nothing held back. And as far as a team goes, they've had the longest break between game 1 and game 2 of any other team. Not only do they have youth, but they've had the longest break. So
great stat.
You can do it. The Netherlands played 2 days ago?
Yeah, Portugal 1-0 win.
I mean, I just everything runs through Lavelle for me. I know she does, and she doesn't even get the credit she's deserved.
Agreed.
Within the team, and I know it's going. But I would love for them to do what you said. I would love to see them start the young kids up front and make a statement early.
Yeah. The question is how challenging was that knock to Lavelle's knee in April? She hadn't played since April until she appeared in Vietnam second half. So she looked good to me. Prayers up that she is absolutely 100% and ready to go. Rose Lavelle wants to make a point that she is indeed, as Ken says, one of the best midfielders in the world, and that left foot of hers is lethal. She scored, all of us remember in 2019, she scored that goal, the second goal after Pino's PK kick, to really ice and cement that second Women's World Cup back-to-back. I'm sorry. How many stars do the USA have? Wait, let me ask Griffin. How many stars? How many stars does the USA have? Meaning, how many World Cups have they won?
Gosh, it looks like 4.
Oh, I forgot we're on camera. Darn,
Yeah,
I was trying
yeah.
to. Yeah, so we are the number one. I just would love to see them come out with all that confidence that we are a 4-time world champion. And Ken, back to Germany. Their last World Cup, they were the only other team to win back-to-back championships, okay? And that was 2007. It's been 16 years. You think Alexander Popp and that team, Germany and Japan are two of the most disciplined, tactical teams that I find extremely fun to watch because they're so good and clean at the way they play.
Yeah, I don't know if they win the World Cup, the United States this year. Germany is the team that scares me the most as well.
Who is your pick? Have you gone out on that limb yet?
I didn't pick anyone. I said the United States versus Germany.
Would you
in the
rather?
Finals. I said the United States versus Germany in the Cup final.
Me too. Yeah.
I mean that's my Cup final, and and to me, if I think the United States at that point could beat them, but I don't know if they're the favorite going into the game.
It would be so fun to watch. I can't wait to see that one. I'll text you.
Just got to get there.
Yep.
Just got to get there. We can go somewhere and watch it together.
Oh, I'd love to.
Yeah. Find a bar. What's on TV tonight?
You want to do tubular
now? Yeah, let's do that.
We'll do things out of order?
Let's
All
do,
right.
you know,
We'll do,
I don't like to do it like Glenn does.
Okay. It's true. It's Ken Zalis radio today.
Yeah.
So on Masson, the Orioles will be on Masson 1 tonight. This is always, Glenn always makes a point of whenever the Orioles are on Masson 2.
Well, you can't figure it out. The other day, so somebody that's out of town, Masson and Masson 2 both listed the Nats game. And I'm like, so I'm going back and forth. It's difficult to do on their app isn't easy.
The Masson app, yeah,
it's not easy.
No, it's not.
Okay, it works. It works, but it's not easy to configure because every time you click on Masson 2, it automatically goes back to Masson, and then you got to do the thing up top. It's really annoying.
Yeah, I don't deal with the app. I do the MLB TV package, and then I have to get a VPN to kind of change my location because I don't have cable. So that's my
That's a young thing. I don't know what all that means.
I love it.
So the Orioles play at 6. So yeah, perfect timing. The
yeah,
US game at 9.
My TV's done.
Cut it at all. Yeah,
I'll have 3 cats on the couch.
We're
good. We're
Ken
good.
And his cats.
We're good. Bradish versus Suarez tonight.
Bradish versus Ranger Suarez. That's at 6. The Rockies Nationals. That game starts at noon actually. So that starts in about 10-15 minutes. U.S. against the Netherlands at 9 on Fox. That's on Fox. FS1 will have. I'm trying to skip ahead to like what games are on tonight. So 3:30 in the morning will be Portugal and Vietnam on Fox Sports 1. ESPN's going to have Braves, Red Sox. The rest of the baseball, just go to GlennClarkRadio.com. Leagues Cup, DC United and the Montreal Impact on Apple TV at 7:30. And then for sports, those are the highlights. Washington Mystics take on the Minnesota Lynx on NBC Sports Washington or NBA TV. AEW Dynamite, which Glenn has to which says I have to mention. That's
you
on
do
TBS.
have to mention, yes.
Non-sports for you, which is what I gather together every week. It's the season 1 finale of Secret Invasion on Disney Plus. This is the Marvel show with Nick Fury. Secret Invasion season 1 finale. A new episode of Hijack on Apple TV Plus with Idris Elba, and a new season of the Great British Baking Show on Netflix. And the rest, it's Shark Week as well, so you can just throw on Discovery at any point in the day, figure out what the sharks are up to.
Do they ever make new ones? Because every year I go.
This week, this is all
every
the new
year
episodes.
I go on. It's the same shows I've seen for a decade.
I think
there's no new
at
sharks.
least like 8 o'clock. I think is when they typically do
They
all
have
the new
I know
ones.
they
But
have
I'm pretty sure it's like new episodes pretty much throughout the day, or
Does
at least the new stuff for this year.
Does
at least.
Aquaman swim with the sharks at any point?
I don't know if he's swimming with the sharks this year, but I know he is like hosting. I don't know how that works, but he's hosting Shark Week.
Can we talk? Are you done?
Yes.
Can we please? I just want to revisit one thing about this is the USA is going to be their first defensive test tonight at 9 p.m. on Fox TV. By the way, how do you think that young back 4 plus just want to mention, I do love Alyssa Nair. I'd love to get your goalkeeper father opinion on her. She plays for Chicago, and they have the most goals scored against them in the NWSL. Now that you can blame the black line for that, the back line, which your Tierna Davidson plays for, but that Chicago's just a mess and struggling. So the first defensive test.
She gave me a shot. We've been back together for 30 minutes. She just took a shot.
It's not time apart, though. You know, we're just connected. Anyway, so what is your opinion? The first defensive test tonight against Alana Cook and Naomi Girma and Emily Fox. These youngsters, Ken.
I think you're gonna have one of your vets in the back four.
You think Ertz is going to go back there again?
Yeah, I think Ertz is going to go back there.
Okay. All right.
I think if Lavelle starts, you can afford that.
Agreed.
I don't think they go. I am not a fan of Nair. I think her greatest attribute is how she reacts during PKs. I think she's a very good PK goalie. I don't think she is very technically sound. I don't think she's a good distributor of the ball. And I think because of those two things, she gives up. She will make the spectacular save. There are two types of goalies. There are spectacular goalies, and then there are just solid goalies. My son is a solid, technically sound goalie. He doesn't always have to make the athletic save because he's in the right spot.
Gotcha.
She has to make the athletic save because she's not in the right spot. And I think her judgment on coming out on balls is suspect.
Okay, how about do you think either Casey Murphy or Audrey Kingsbury is better than Nair?
I think they're both better than her because I think they're both more technically sound. My problem is the experience factor for both of them.
Yep. But I thought
on the world stage, it's a different.
So it matters for goalkeepers.
It does.
Yeah,
it
I agree.
does.
I agree.
You have to have that experience, and because this goes back to my friendlies and goes back to I wish they would play more. We don't see those other two goalies a whole lot.
Aubrey Kingsbury, right down there at Audi Field, folks. She is earned her way onto this team. Terrific.
I don't know her.
I love Kingsbury.
I have watched her train because Jonah's goalie trainer was Bill Hamid's goalie trainer.
Okay.
So we've been there. I'm a fan of hers.
Yep. She's got great stats in the NWSL.
But again, why don't we see her in the second half of a friendly? What when they did leading up to, they did their tour, and they did these friendlies leading up. Why? What? And I know why, but why did Nair play every second in goal?
No, wait a minute. She was only named to the team only before the no.
Who?
Before Kingsbury.
I don't know when she was named to the team.
And I thought she was named, and then there was only one friendly, which she didn't. I think they felt.
But why?
Yeah, that's a good question.
But why? Why? You know.
You know what Nair gives you.
You know. I mean, I'm not saying she's going to get replaced right now, but it's just like I was never a fan. Who was before Turner, the Maryland kid? Who was whatever his name? Who was the Maryland kid that was the U.S. goalie? Wasn't a fan of his. They're the same. He was athletic as could be. His distribution and his judgment were terrible, and that's what Nair is.
Interesting.
I
love your opinions.
And she's done great. I mean, again, you're spoiled sometimes because, but your point is well taken. She is playing with some younger people in front of her, so that's where the veteran has to step up.
For sure. I mean, the loss of Becky Sauerbrunn, I listen, just from a leadership perspective, I thought
Zach Steffen.
Steffen. Never a fan of Steffen.
Zach Steffen?
Yeah,
okay,
Zach
gotcha.
Steffen.
Never a fan of Steffen. Was never a fan of his because, again, spectacular, but then he would make the stupid mistake in distribution or when to come out. And that's and I hope that doesn't happen because she's made some incredible saves over her time, especially she's that athletic goalie that makes that spectacular save. So it makes you forget about all the other mistakes. So
agreed.
We'll see. Where were we? What are we doing now?
It'll be so interesting. I can't wait. 13 straight World Cup wins for the United States. They are the favorite. That they got to come in and they got to show it. But they've got all these new people. What happens? I don't know. You got to tune in and watch.
Tune in. I can't wait.
I can't wait either. I'm
wait.
on the edge of my seat. I'm up all night watching all these games. That's how good it is.
We can keep talking soccer if you want, or we can play Would You Rather, and then I'll give you a tidbit, and we can
let's do that.
Wind down.
Let's do that. Let's do Would You Rather and then the tidbit.
Yeah, Jamie, you're welcome to stick around, or but thanks so much.
Staying.
Yeah, she's staying.
She's staying.
Okay, all right.
Now
Ken
I
says
have
you're
to.
staying.
Now I
Ken
have
says you're
to.
staying.
All right.
First, Would You Rather? Shohei Ohtani, the Orioles pull off the trade, and the package is Jordan Westburg, Connor Norby, Joey Ortiz, and DL Hall. Or no way, you're good. Ken, what's your answer?
So my answer is no way we're good.
Okay.
And the reason for that is you can't. I know they're from a point of strength, and probably next year when Holiday's here, you could probably do without that package. How much when you take away so much depth for a rental, the only way it makes it worthwhile is if you win the World Series. I don't know that he guarantees you to win the World Series. May guarantee you to get there. I don't know if he guarantees you to win the World Series. So,
I mean, it'd be so exciting if they got Ohtani, and like that package is. I mean, Westburg and Norby and Ortiz already don't fit like on this current team. Assuming obviously we'll see what happens with Gunnar. I mean, having to leave early last night. But like that doesn't seem too bad, all things considered. Like they still hold on to Kjerstad. They still have obviously the core of everybody else, and Kowser's still in there. I mean, I guess it wipes your infield out a good bit, but you
lose a lot of depth. Now the key is that you still have Mayo down there.
Mm-hmm.
You still have Holiday.
You still have Prado. Like
Prado. I mean, you have to. I don't want to do it for a rental. What I would love them to do is do it and sign them, and then I'm all for it. Of course, they're not going to do that.
No, it doesn't. That
sadly.
doesn't seem likely.
But
I mean, it would be so exciting. It is so hard for me to say no, and I think I'm going to say, to hell with it. I'll do it.
Okay.
Rest of Twitter's pretty split actually. We get a couple. It's really pretty split between people saying they do it or not they do it. PFF Sean says he'd throw in Adley and Gunnar and Kowser and Felix Bautista, and he would still take Ohtani. I mean, that's how badly he wants Ohtani. I know.
Come on, dude. Come on. I love it. I mean, we look. You.
Griffin just poked the bear.
I mean, you're not doing all that. I mean, no. Why would you all of that? Come on.
And I did forget to mention, Would You Rather? Would You Rather Wednesday brought to you by BirdlandSports.com. So anyone that participates on Twitter automatically entered for a chance to win a T-shirt from BirdlandSports.com. Right there in front of you, Ken. I don't know if you can reach it.
I can't reach it. I'm really I have short arms.
I'll hook you up.
There you go. Hold that. That's the Felix Bautista, the Mountain T-shirt. You can get T-shirts like that and many, many more at BirdlandSports.com. Continuing along, Would You Rather number 2, the Ravens, as we already talked about this one, go 10-7 and lose in the first round, like it seems like they continue to do, or they do make it to the Super Bowl and lose 45-3.
All right, I'll take the Super Bowl.
Okay, all right, Jamie, we'll give an answer.
Yeah,
Super Bowl. Ken.
I mean, I'm going to go with the Super Bowl as well. I mean, you would just have to be okay. Here's what you have to be okay with. You'd have to be okay with all the ridicule after the Super Bowl.
You lost by 42 points.
With the Ravens and towards Lamar, and just be okay with it because you lost 45-3. You have nothing to say because obviously if it's 45-3, Lamar hasn't played well.
Yeah.
They were out-coached. Everything went wrong, but I'd rather them get to the Super Bowl and lose like that than to have another first-round exit.
Yeah, and the other thing with that is, Glenn and I kind of talk about it a lot with the 2012 team is, they came so close in 2011, and then losing in New England the way that they did, it kind of propelled them to, obviously this isn't it's not going to be a heartbreaking Super Bowl loss, but I mean, you get to the Super Bowl, and then you just completely poof the bed like that.
Here's my feeling. We don't know what that feels like.
Mm-hmm.
We've been to 2 Super Bowls, and we've won both. So, hey. And plus, everybody gives us heck anyway. The whole national media, we're always underdogs. It drives me crazy, but this city sticks together with our team, and, just bring it on. Just whatever. Say what you want. The Ravens are going to come out, and they're going to come out swinging.
I also feel like it'd be, if they got to the Super Bowl and lost by 6 touchdowns, like I feel like there'd be some built-in defense in there, like, oh, Lamar got hurt on the first play, or I don't know, the entire defense got hurt over the weekend. Like, I don't know, I don't know how that happens, like how that happens. But I feel like it would be somewhat defendable, and then you can still have that chip on your shoulder of we were in the Super Bowl, we'll get back.
Could go
so
ask
yeah,
the people in Buffalo.
I'll take Super Bowl. Let's see. Mostly Super Bowl. Ryan Frazier says he'll go 10-7 in the playoffs. If I already know in the other scenario, they lose in the Super Bowl anyway. So if they lose, I guess he's saying he would rather them get it
the
over
better
with.
Get the better draft pick. Of
Yeah,
course,
get the better
always got to
draft.
think about the draft. Better draft pick.
Hang the banner, AFC champs. So yeah, well,
Okay.
most people are leaning towards the Super Bowl. And then finally, our last question: you can only trade for one San Diego Padre, Blake Snell, the starter, or Josh Hader to help bolster the bullpen.
I think, and this changes for me on a daily basis, but I think you just got to go Snell because of the innings that the starters have thrown so far. I just think you're going to need 4 or 5 starts from somebody else along the way to limit. I mean, everybody's going to pitch a career high this year outside of Gibson, maybe, and maybe even him. I just think you got to go Snell. And one thing this didn't say, so it's not part of it, is like this is the only trade. So go get a different bullpen arm besides Hader. But I think you need both. But if it can only get one of the Padres, I think you got to go Snell. I think it helps them long term this year. I think it saves more pitchers by having that one extra starter.
Yeah, I mean, after last night, like you said, it changes every day.
Yeah, it changes
But
every
I mean, after last night, I feel like it keeps happening where it's like Felix Bautista is the only guy that we can trust right now in the bullpen, and thank God he is literally nails every time he's in and gets the job done. But I mean, adding a Josh Hader to have him available on a night where you don't have, I mean, we keep saying Cano and Bautista, but I mean, Cano is turning. I mean, he's been very shaky. It's hard to trust him now every time too.
Yeah.
So if we make one trade, I feel like it. I mean, yeah, like the Tyler Wells thing is really worrisome too. I'll take Josh Hader. I'm going to take Josh Hader, another all-star caliber closer, and add him to the bullpen that has been shaky over the last month-ish. I'm kind of alone though. Most people are on Blake Snell. Ivan says, like you said, Blake Snell, and then go get David Robertson or another arm. But it's would you rather?
Yeah, it's would you rather, and I get that, and that's that's probably the right answer at the end of the day. Is go get a different arm, but if we can only have one and it's the only one, I don't know. Maybe I'm listening to Stan too much, and he still thinks that DL Hall will be a bullpen arm for him.
Yeah, well, DL Hall might not ever be a major league pitcher. Well, at least I guess not with the Orioles.
I don't know.
Like,
I don't know. Who knows? I mean, he's still down in whatever he's in right now. In Florida.
Yeah. Yes. Tidbit wise, I will give you some random stats from the last day or so.
Okay.
Start with Salvador Perez. He hit his 240th career home run, which ties him for the third most home runs by a primary catcher since the year 2000. Do you want to try to guess what primary baseball catchers have more home runs than Salvi since 2000?
Since 2000.
Yeah, since 2000.
No, I don't.
All right. Brian McCann has the most, 282. Victor Martinez, 246, and he is tied with Jorge Posada now.
Would never have gotten any of them.
You wouldn't have gotten any of them?
They're
All
too
right.
far back for me.
Do you know how many clubs Lionel Messi has scored? He scored last night, and he scored against his 100th club.
100th club.
Yep.
Yeah.
He scored
Crazy.
In club
Love
his
him.
club career as Inter Miami took down Atlanta United.
Yeah.
Are you going to go see him?
Once I get a raise somewhere. Did you see the prices that they?
I thought they dropped like the tweet that said down to $70.
I didn't see that.
Oh yeah, because it was like hot as you know what, and then after Messi exited the field in the 77th minute, there was an exodus.
There was nobody there.
I mean, you know what? If I can, I would like to, because it's one of those once in a lifetime things.
Agreed.
So if I can make it work, I probably will. But the prices I saw.
Yeah, forget it. Right.
So So we looked at when he was going to play the Red Bulls up
Coming
in New
up,
York.
yeah.
Because Jonah will be up there, and we're like, oh, and
Do it.
The cheapest
Oh.
ticket was $1,200.
It's New York. It's New York.
And I was like,
go fly out to Cincinnati. The next one.
Drive out to Cincinnati.
Yeah,
Right.
I was
Hey,
just
right.
like-
It's Ohio.
Yeah.
I was just like, maybe what I'd like to do is wait till next year when it
Dies down a little.
it dies down
Yeah.
a little bit, and there's a full season. I have more than one opportunity to do it, but I got college to pay for now. I can't throw $2,400 on 2 tickets to see Messi play. I just can't do it.
Did you give excuse me? Did you give me your Golden Boot winner for the Women's World Cup?
I did not.
And your dark horse, please go.
I mean, if the United States wins, I mean, I'm going to tell you that my dark horse is Rodman.
Ooh.
Okay.
Mine is Smith.
Okay. Because I think Smith will be keyed upon the rest of the way now that she's introduced herself.
Good point.
I guess I'll go the German.
Pop. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
well, good reason. She's got 64 international
Yeah,
goals.
I mean,
she's
just-
good at what she does.
She's good. I mean, if I believe that those 2 teams are going to be in the finals,
There you go.
then-
They go the
then
longest.
Then I have to
Yep.
go. I have to go in that direction.
Okay, I like it. All right, write that down, please.
Okay.
Okay.
All right,
Just
got-
kidding.
I'll get all of Ken's predictions down so we can see how wrong
So
he
we can
is
see
in a couple weeks.
because Ken's predictions are always wrong.
Maybe Glenn Clark could email his in as well.
And so finally, Justin Herbert linked his extension.
Did.
Last, I guess, yesterday
Yesterday.
afternoon. 5-year extension, $262.5 million across 5 years. And he's big reason for that. He is the most passing yards in the first 3 seasons by any quarterback ever in their first 3 seasons. He has 14,000.
Oof.
I want to see if you can name the top 5 here, Ken. Quarterbacks with their most passing yards in their first 3 seasons.
Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning is in the top 5.
Dan
He is
Marino.
third. Dan Marino is just outside of the top 5. He had 11,430, and he would be 7th. Had 7th most in his first 3.
Thank you for the love, Griffin.
Elway?
Not Elway.
Trying to think of the first 3 seasons.
Elway's pretty far down.
Really? Really?
Yeah. I don't even.
Too much running.
Yeah.
Too much handing off. Mahomes?
Not Mahomes. So since he sat out his first year.
Oh, so that doesn't count.
Yeah.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah.
So he
First
started
3
right away.
years. First 3 years. Let's see, who else is... I mean...
They are
Is there-
all. Let's see. One.
I was going to say they're all probably older.
No, they're all pretty from the
Burrow?
last since 2010. Yes, Joe Burrow is 4th on the list behind
Okay.
Peyton Manning. Had 11,700. Peyton had 12,200. So we're looking for 2 and 5 now on the list.
2 and
Hint,
5.
please.
They're both they were both number 1 overall picks.
That doesn't help me.
Since let's see, the one was I don't want to give it away. Since 2010, they both have been number 1 overall draft.
As a draft guy, I should know that, but I'm terrible.
You don't care about the top.
No,
got
I
Peyton
don't.
Manning.
I'm better.
Yeah, we always
I'm
know
so-
the top who the top.
I always know the top, but I always forget. Let's see. I'm trying to go down the list. Wouldn't be Josh Allen, would it?
No, not Josh Allen.
Number 1 picks.
Yeah, number 1 overall.
Oh, number 1 overall, not
Yes.
just first round picks. Who were the first round picks?
I know, right? Why can't boy wait?
'Cause I can't,
It did not
'cause-
blaze us
So
apparently.
give it years 2012 and 2015.
They both still in the league?
No, one.
That's what I was gonna say.
One still is in the league. 2015 is, but 2012 had a pretty early retirement.
Luck.
Yep, Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck is
Good
second
hint,
on
yeah.
this
That was a
list.
good hit.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
Just under
Out of sight-
13,000
out
yards.
of sight, out of mind.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And then-
Herbert, Luck, Manning, Burrow, and then number 5
Hint.
throws a lot of interceptions as well as yards and touchdowns.
Feels like a
I'm
lot of
gonna
people.
hate myself, but because it's probably so freaking.
He's now a backup, I think, in
Still-
New Orleans.
still in the league?
Yeah.
Who's the backup in New Orleans?
Jameis Winston.
Oh,
Jameis
wow.
God,
I would've
would
never
never
gotten
have gotten that.
Jameis Winston started with the Buccaneers, number 1
Yeah, he
overall
did.
in 2015.
I just didn't. I can't believe he threw for that many yards.
Yeah.
That early. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He just can't. He
was the
can't get
number
out
one
of his
pick.
own way.
I don't remember that.
But it's like because you see it, you saw the talent. I mean, he throws for. He did. I mean, I didn't think he threw for it that soon.
Well, I was always rumor. I mean, after he got the eye surgery, so that now he could see that he wasn't, his teammates who he was supposed to be throwing
Is that a
it
joke?
to. Well,
Sounds
he
like
did get eye surgery.
So he was better off not knowing where he's just throwing the
You're
ball
deadpanning that well,
just,
Griffin.
just throwing the ball up in the air. Wow.
Yes.
Winston. He was rumored to maybe come here.
Yeah, that would have been, I guess, if Lamar hadn't worked out, or even
the
backup Lamar.
I mean, they're still. I guess they're happy with their backups.
Are you? I guess the question is Ken Zalis happy with the backups?
No, their backups can't win ball games consistently.
Yeah.
Like I
Tyler
always
Huntley almost beat the Bengals.
I
in
know.
a wild card game.
I know. They almost beat
Stop.
the Bengals. They almost beat the Bengals.
Painful.
Okay, that's what everybody's going to say. They did. They should have beaten the Bengals. No, I think you need a vet, especially now that you have a real offense, and you don't need Lamar clones. I think you need to start to go get a real veteran quarterback that could come in and throw the ball around a little bit accurately and steady the ship if he had to start for 5 weeks in a row.
Joe Flacco.
No, because he can't.
Okay.
He can't.
You want to tease tomorrow?
Yeah, what's tomorrow? So we are gonna have John Laub tomorrow.
Paul Valley will join us.
Paul Valley will join us.
Yes, we'll talk some more Orioles.
Oh, I can't wait for Paul Valley. Paul Valley and I have fun online. Yeah,
and then
he hates everything.
We'll make.
I don't even think he's an Oriole fan. He hates everything.
He definitely doesn't like lineups typically.
He does not like lineups. Doesn't very negative very quickly in games.
But we're excited to talk to him.
We are. No, I love Paul.
And then we'll make our weekly trip to the farm. We'll stop in Bowie. We'll talk to the Bowie Bay Sox. And Ryan Long recently promoted starting pitcher to the Bowie Bay Sox. And then
can't wait. They're hot.
Yeah. Stuffing things.
I have a question. When is my favorite female personality, the NFL chick, back in the studio here?
That's a good question.
Is that Ravens time that she's in here?
Yeah, usually we had her on a lot while we were setting the Lamar meter and the Lamometer. As I like to call it.
You gotta go to the other radio station to catch her.
Yeah,
I know. Well, she's on the rise, man. Forget
it.
She's
busy.
She is very busy.
She's busy.
Love you, Rita. Love you, Rita.
For me and Glenn, hardly anymore.
I love Rita and Glenn together, though. I hope we can get a lot of them together.
Yeah. Well,
yes.
They should take over the afternoon spot.
Yeah.
Hey, he said that out loud.
I did.
I love him.
Oh, once you get off my lawn area in your life, you don't care anymore. I don't. I don't need to make friends anymore.
And then big thanks to today's guests.
Yes. Mike Axisa from CBS Sports.
Axisa, yeah.
Axisa. See, I got it right while he's on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
That was the most important part.
Agreed.
Right.
And, of course, the lovely J.B. Watson.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Thanks for filling in, Ken.
Oh, absolutely. We'll do it again tomorrow. I had so much fun.
We'll run it back.
We'll run it back one more time, and then I guess we're going to do our Thursday things again.
Yeah. Thanks to PressBoxOnline.com/offers. Stay in the fan. The PressBox printed issue. Get it at the local Royal Farms in Toyota. So your local Toyota Tacoma.
Yeah.
Always a tongue twister. And Glenn likes to say Duke sucks. Is that how you want to end it?
Duke sucks. Ohio State sucks.
He stopped doing that one. He stopped doing it because I don't know. His reasoning seemed murky, but he was just like, it's not something that everyone can get behind as much as Duke sucks. So he went back to just Duke sucks.
Duke sucks. Yankees suck too. How's that?
That's perfect.
Okay.